Hi, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Ask Me Any Stocks live session. If you guys can see and hear me, you can see my screen as well. Just go ahead to type GM for good morning. Let me just acknowledge all of you for just joining us today. Every Friday, we go live, Ask Me Any Stocks. And today, we'll be talking about the Singapore stocks, right? Singapore market. Just type a GM for good morning. Let me just acknowledge all of you. I think we see a lot of familiar faces joining us every Friday. Let's see who is here today, right? We have like ABC. Yes, every Friday you're here, right? Hi, good morning as well. John, Lawrence, good morning. Hi, Fu Wong as well. Good morning. K-Stras, Ida, Vincent, morning as well. Mao, thank you so much. Morning. Yatri as well. All right, I think some of you are already typing in the name of the stocks that you want a quick opinion on. We'll come to that in a bit, right? Good morning, Esther, William. Hi, Ellen. Good morning. So welcome, guys. This is working. We are live right now on YouTube as well as on Facebook. And this is our, if you are new to this is our weekly Friday AMAS session, right? In short, ask me any Singapore stock. Not ask me, actually ask me and my team, all right? And we have my team right over here, Z, joining us today. All right, Bervin is on leave, right? So he will not be with us today. So only me and Z today. But we'll pretty much cover the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about, all right? After doing a quick market outlook and then looking at some of the key levels for the market, are we more bullish? Are we seeing selling? Where could some bargain hunting come back again, right? That is what we'll cover for the entire markets. And then we'll dive into the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking, right? So some of you might be new here. Jennifer, welcome. First time over here. You might be scrolling through YouTube or Facebook. You have no idea why you're even here in the first place. Well, if you are into stocks, right? Singapore stocks specifically, then Jennifer, you are in the right place. So that's, as I say, right, this is where we pretty much cover stocks. Every Friday we go live. Today is Singapore stocks. Next Friday is US stocks. So we alternate between US and Singapore. So last Friday was US, so this Friday is Singapore. Right? Next week, back to US. All right, and yeah, so if you're new, welcome. All right, if you have not met before, like Jennifer, first time seeing me, my name is Joey Choy, top tier remisier, trader in Philips Securities, one of the top brokers in Philips Securities. And I also share a little bit on the entire One Good Trend strategy, right? That I've been using for more than a decade now. Pretty much, how do we know when to get in on stocks? How do we know when to buy, when to sell, or when to take profit, all right, when to cut loss? That's the entire strategy. And later, right, we'll be using this tool, right? I call it the One Good Trend Pro Indicator, which is pretty much, came out, all right, from the One Good Trend strategy, right? That was how it was conceptualized, right? In terms of it being a part of the strategy, the entire framework. So when we use this tool later, a click of a few buttons or boxes, right? And that's where it comes out with bullish and bearish signals as a confirmation to know when to get in, when to buy, when to sell, right? So later we used it on your stocks, all right? And make sure you stay all the way to the end as well, guys, because at the end, right, that is where we will share with you guys two Singapore stocks that you can put in your watch list for potentially more upside. All right, more upside. Okay, Ken? So that is what we'll be doing today. So would it be okay, guys, if you help us to like and share, all right? Just do us a favor. I want to see like and share. Hit the share button, guys. Or there's a like button somewhere. Like and share. There's a heart shape button so that we can reach out to more people as well before we begin today's proper session. Hit the heart shape button. Like and share. Let me know. All right. Thank you so much. I think I see a lot of hearts and stuff. Right. Thank you so much, guys. So welcome. Good morning, Tina as well. All right. Good morning, SIA. All right. Bull State as well. Okay, good. I think some of you are already typing in the name of the stocks, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get started, right? Well, today I have with me Z right up here, but no, Bervin is not here. So every Friday we go live, three of us will be here, me, Bervin, and Z. But today Bervin is kind of like taking part in marathon, all right? So he's on leave today, so not being able to join us today. But Z is right here with me today. And let me just introduce Z, like one of my team members, top brokers under me in Philips Securities for the past 4 to 5 years now. She has been assisting me with our group coaching sessions, our one-on-one sessions with our mentees, even assisting our team's portfolio manager as well, right, with the fund management business, right? So Z is a kind of like an expert in anything to do with charts, right? Anything to do with technical analysis, candlestick, price action, pattern, whatever. She's the expert. Why? Because she's what we call a CMT, Chartered Market Technician. And of course, she's very well versed in the entire One Good Trend strategy as well, right? So maybe I can pass on the mic to Z to share a little bit on herself today. Z?
All right, thanks, Joey. Hi, everyone. For those who are new here, hi, nice to meet you guys. My name is Z. So like what Joey mentioned, super big fan of charts. So I always look at charts, and basically I just look at it during my free time as well. I mean, apart from doing exercises and keeping myself active, right? But the key thing is I do enjoy looking at charts whereby it is not overcomplicated, right? I don't have too many indicators on the screen whereby it might cause me to have analysis paralysis. But whereas the 1GT Pro indicator with just a click of a button, you can see very quickly, the bullish and bearish signals, and also together with the 1GT framework, how it can actually help you to have a very quick opinion of the stock. So that is what we will be doing later on, and hopefully we can cover as many stocks as possible for you guys. And by the way, Bervin will be coming back next week, and maybe you guys can ask him about how is his marathon, because from what I know, I think he's actually doing like a 21 click over this weekend.
21 click?
Yeah, 21 click. Yeah.
So you can really run, man. 21 click. 2 click only die already for me.
Yeah, so back over to you, Joey.
Okay. Thank you so much. So let's get started right now, guys. So me and Z today, and just quick disclaimer, whatever that's being shared today in our live session, as usual, we will say this, right? It's just for education purposes only. So please do your own due diligence. It's not really to ask you to buy or sell anything, but just to give you guys an opinion based on the strategy, the one good trend strategy, based on the proper framework, based on the reasonable basics, right? So do a bit of homework as well. All right, the usual disclaimer that we have to share. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just get to cover the markets very quickly, and that's what we usually do in our session, right? This is the S&P 500 index. How many of you want me to cover the markets or the S&P? Just type M for market, guys. If you want me to cover the markets, or we can just skip this part and we go direct to the Singapore stocks that you guys want, type M for markets. If you want me to cover at least more than 10 M's, then I will cover. If not, maybe I'll just skip this part. Let me know. Type M for market if you want me to cover the market, or we can just skip. Jennifer, that's half marathon, all right? Yes, I believe so, all right? Half marathon, I think that's what Bervin is kind of like doing, all right? That's insane, man. 21 kilometer, right? Yeah, you can ask him about it next Friday. He'll be back here, okay? Okay, so let's see, right? M, thank you so much, June. M, market. Colleen says skip, but mostly M, all right? Let's just do a quick one, all right? Colleen, would it be a quick one? All right, just a quick one, all right? Let's go to do the markets very quickly. S&P 500 index right here, 6,604, right? So over the past few days, we have seen a little bit of weakness, a bit of profit taking in the entire the S&P 500 index, the US market, right? Because a bit of a sell down in the technology sector that's gone up by quite a fair bit, pushing to new highs. All right, but I think overall you can see that I'll not go too far, but every time we got a bullish signal, like this bullish signal came out in May. We saw the reversal after the Trump tariffs was announced. Very strong reversal all the way up. Of course, not always bullish. Previously in February, we got 2 1GT bearish signal coming out, right? So this is the 1GT Pro indicator that I talk about, that we can, turn it on any stocks. Your Singapore stocks later also we'll turn it on, but this is the market, right? Not a stock, all right? You can see that we can turn it on, all right? I mean, I can turn it off also, right? Pump off, then nothing, all right? Then you need to do a bit of analysis. But now, to save time, all right, turn it on and you can immediately see if there's a bearish signal or a bullish signal. Of course, you see a bearish one yesterday, then you got to be careful, right? But if you see a bullish green signal, right, in the market or in the stocks, plus a few other confirmations, that could be signs of strength. That could be where you are a bit more confident if you're looking to buy the stock. Does it make sense so far? All right. So we have turned it on just to keep it a bit simple. Very strong recovery in the market. We got a bearish signal, a bit of a sell down. 2-week sector, a new 1GT bullish signal actually came out, right? And let's take a look at the trend as well, right? Apart from the bullish and even the bearish signal. So you can see, right, the S&P 500 index, somewhere around last month, we have officially turned into what we call a longer term uptrend. That means the trend in the longer term, right, has turned from sideways to up. Why do I say that? Well, you can see that the 100 days moving average line, the red line, has crossed above the blue line, and both of them are starting to turn up, right? But if you look at it over the past, since February to May, it's a bit down, a bit sideways, not that clear. A bit of a, profit taking is more sideways. But now, after seeing the move above the 6,500 level as another confirmation, we have started to see the trend in the longer term for the entire S&P 500 index turn up officially, right? So I think it looks pretty bullish. I mean, look at the green line. The green line represents the short-term trend. It has been pointing up since April. In case you're still thinking, when is it? Not last week or last month, since like April, May, June, July, August, September. All right, these green lines be going up, flat a bit up, flat a bit up. I think still up lah. Does it make sense so far? So the short-term trend is up, the longer-term trend is up. Yes, a little bit of profit taking, maybe at this resistance level around the 6,700 level. But I would say that, overall, it looks still pretty strong, right? On dips, we're starting to see strength coming back, bargain hunting coming back. So a bit of weakness in the technology sector that's pushed up. So that's where we've seen the pullback. But overall, I think as long as the market stays above some of the key support levels, like the 6,500. So 6,500 was where we were consolidating from August to to early of September, right? We broke the 6,500. We are kind of like still above the 6,500. So anything above 6,500, we might just be moving sideways a bit, taking a rest for a while before maybe attempting to break 6,007, right? To see targets being raised again, maybe all the way to 6,008 or even that 7,000. All right, so this is the S&P 500 index, a little bit of profit taking, which is normal, which is healthy, by the way, right? Maybe see a bit of a consolidation before pushing even higher. All right, let's take a look at maybe the STI, the Straits Times indexes. We're talking about Singapore stocks today, right? So this is the STI, right? Very quickly, you can see that, well, longer term trend has been up since like last year. Look at the red and the blue line, right? A little bit different from the S&P 500 index that turned sideways for a while. But for STI, since last year, the red and blue have been pointing up. Does it make sense so far? All right, the blue is below the red, red above the blue. All right, both pointing up to, now of course it's still same now. All right, the longer term trend has been intact since last year. All right, the longer term uptrend. Right, not the short term. The short term can be up and down. Right, so you can see short term. Well, in September, we saw a bit of sell down here. Sorry, not September, in April, right? Trump introduced tariffs, right? We saw the green line going down. Same thing over here in August last year, down. So short term, it's short term now, so you can change here and there. Or we could see weakness in the short term, but however, the longer term trend is up. All right. So when the short term trend is going down, then you just chill first, relax, right? Don't rush to get in. Wait for the short-term trend to turn back up, and that's exactly what happened in end of April, early May. The green line turned up a bit, up more, up sideways a bit. Now I think still a little bit up. All right, we started to see that reversal. Right, so I think longer-term trend is up. Short-term trend you can see, right? So over the past few days, we have seen a bit of profit taking in the banks, the Singapore banks, DBS, a bit of OCBC selling down as well, and that has put down a bit of the STI. All right, we have put back from about 4,360 all the way to around at 4,250 plus, whereby some bargain hunting is starting to come back. So let me just go to put this support level. So you can see right now we are back to this level right here. This is what we call a horizontal resistance that have turned to a support level. It's about 4,280. Look at it, right over here, right? So 4,280 was a bit of a resistance, came down, but somewhere in September, early September, went above it, right? Went all the way up, tested it, went up. Now we are back here to potentially that same resistance turn support. So we're like just right here, right? We're just right here. Today is like 4,287. So we are still kind of like above the 4,280. But this 4,280, just take note, guys, I would say it's a pretty key level. It's kind of like a support level. It's a horizontal support level. If you can stay above 4,275 to 4,280 over the next, today's Friday. Okay, maybe up to next week, next Monday, next Tuesday, Wednesday, right? I think that would be where hopefully some bargain hunting can come back. Whereby this would firm up that resistance turns support as really a new support level, right? And that's where we could also potentially see a rebound, right? If we stay above, of course, we break below the 4,275, 4,280, and then not so good. That's where we might see a bit of a pullback towards the next support for the entire market, maybe at 4,160. That could be the next downside support level. Right, so let's see, right? Let's see. I think so far still holding above it today. We kind of like see a bit of a rebound from it. Green line, as I mentioned, it was like up, now starting to flatten out a little bit, maybe a bit of a consolidation in the short term. All right, so let's see whether it can hold above this support for the entire market, 4,280 to maybe 4,275, a little bit of an allowance lah. All right, Ken. So this is the STI. Okay, very good. So now, very quickly, let me go ahead to cover the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about, right? So very simple, guys. I know some of you have already typed in the stocks that you want a quick opinion on. So very simple, type in the name of the Singapore stocks that you want a quick opinion on, right? And you want to give us a little bit of context as well, right? Give us a bit of context, like don't just type like Yangzijiang or DBS, right? But give us a bit of context, right? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? You got in at what price? You got in last year, last month? You know, what's a bit of context so that we'll give more priority. Right? That's what we do, right? That's what we do for our EMEA session. We give you a bit more priority. We spend the time to type, give us a bit of context. I think that's where it could help you and give you more value. Like, rather than just put one name there, you know, and then we also don't know you want to buy or sell or what you're trying to do, right? I mean, give us a bit of a context. All right, okay, again, and that's where we'll go ahead to cover that. So now let me go into this look through all the chat messages one by. Give me some time, guys, because I'm only just looking at it right now. Let's see, right? Okay, let me just pick one today. Let's see. Okay, let me just do this today, right? I think that's pretty much the first one that I want to cover. Asked by who? Qinhua Tan. I hope you're still here, Qinhua, right? I'm thinking of buying Yangzijiang Financial Holding now. Is it too late to go in? Yangzijiang Financial Holding. Let's check it out. Let's put it out right now. Yangzijiang Financial Holding. There we go. Let's take a look at this stock. Wow. Yangzijiang Financial Holding, right? So I think, Qinhua, I think you're asking about this stock right here, $1.19. Is it too late to go in? So thanks for giving me a bit of context, Qinhua. So it's not like you have bought last year or last month, but more like you did not buy, and then it has gone up. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gone up by quite a bit. So is it too late to go in? Is it too late to go in? Because maybe you buy, wow, then what if it's going to come down, right? Or maybe it might even go higher, all right? So let's go into find out. So this is Yangzijiang Financial Holding. In fact, this is one of the stocks that we've covered since like couple of months back, since like, you know, July. If you're a client of mine in Phillip Securities, you would probably have received a WhatsApp from me and my team, all right? I mean, somewhere over here, all right, to kind of like alert you, right, to watch this stock, because that's where we started to see a bullish signal coming in, and that's where we saw a pretty strong rally, right? Even more. So let me just go ahead to perspective, right over here. We saw a very strong rally. I mean, look at this, right? We got a bullish signal, it went sideways, a second 1GT bullish signal came out, and there we go, right? From here all the way to now, 59%, right? 59% in about 2 months plus, right? So if you want to just get, you know, kind of like ideas like this on a daily basis by WhatsApp, right, guys? Maybe Z can place the link in the chat, right? Find out how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities, so that you can be alerted much faster, so that it will not be too late. Of course, now you've gone up a bit, right? I mean, you're not a bit, quite a lot, right? But if you get some of those ideas much faster by WhatsApp, check it out as to how you can become a client of mine in Phillip Securities. I think some of you may be clients of mine here as well. Thank you so much for the support. But on a daily basis, we do share some of those ideas. You can put in your watch list. There'll be a little chart. There'll be a little description as well. And you know, that's some of the service we provide as a client of mine in Phillip Securities at no additional cost, all right? No additional cost. So if you are trading, I mean, you need a trading account, right? So if you have a trading account somewhere, you log in, you buy in some online platform, mobile app, whatever, and then nobody, like, you know, send you anything, nobody call you, nobody WhatsApp you, no ideas, no video, no training. You need to call a hotline or something, right? Link is right in the chat. Check it out, all right? How you can become a client so you can get some of those ideas much faster. All right. Okay. Now let's take a look at this stock, Yangzijiang Financial Holding. Right. So yes, indeed, Qinhua has gone up by quite a bit. Right. Is it too late to go in? Well, I think that even though it might be a bit more expensive, there could still be potentially more upside as long as we stay above some of those key support levels. So let's take a look at the trend for Yangzijiang Financial Holding. Right. Quite clearly, you can see that the longer term trend is up. All right. Look at the red and blue line. I mean, since last year already up. Look at the red and blue. Right. Since like, I think July last year, the red has been sloping up above the blue, all right? In fact, we got an earlier signal in September last year, right? That was like September 1, right? All the way up here to the bearish signal, 108% in 6 months, right? That was last year's signal, all right? Of course, we got a bearish signal and then it turned a bit boring, right? You're sideways, up, down, sideways for a while. And then another bullish signal came in July, and we started to see the next wave of upside. All right. So I would say that the longer term trend has been up since last year. In the short term, it was boring, sideways, up, boring, sideways, up. Right. Is the green line still up right now? I think the green line is still up, right? Does it make sense? I think the short-term trend is still potentially up, right? In terms of the longer-term trend and in terms of the short-term trend. And this green line has been up since July, when we actually got the 1GT bullish signal, right? So why did we actually got this 1GT bullish signal? Let me just quickly explain to you, right? You can see that right over here, well, we got what we call a horizontal resistance. Quite clearly, we have broken the horizontal resistance on this day. That triggered the 1GT bullish signal in terms of the confirmation. All right, of course, after that, the green line also start to turn up as another confirmation. That's why I say we got got this message out to our clients in Flip Securities, of course, with a chart and this description, right over here. But that was why we got a 1GT bullish signal. All right, push up. I would say right now, maybe we might see what we call a bit of a support level, right? So the support level used to be like about $1. Look at it, right? $1 consolidating a bit, and then it became even higher at 105, and it became even higher at 110. Now I think the support has gone higher to maybe about 1.15 all the way to $1.25. So that is kind of like the range right now. You can see 115 also kind of like coincides with where the green 20 days moving average line is. So you see, every time we near, look at this, every time we near the green 20 days moving average, pump. We near it, pump. We near it, pump. Does it make sense? So this green 20 days moving average line, that gives us an idea of the short-term trend. It acts a little bit like a dynamic support level. So if you're to near it, that could be where, all right, a potential entry can be taken, especially if you see some bullish candlestick right over there as well, right? So I think for Chihua, thinking to buy, well, I'm not too sure whether you'll go down for you to buy, but as long as it holds above some of the support levels like 115, I think it still looks good. Longer term trend up, short term trend up, that could be potentially good entry levels to think about getting in again. Of course, you want to take some profit. Those who have got in over here, well, you can take some profit near 125, 123, 124. Nothing wrong to take some profit, especially if you hit what we call a resistance level, because that's where we might consolidate for a while. So lock in some profits, wait for a pullback, maybe think about getting in again. All right, so this is Yangzijiang Financial Holding. And maybe I can show you one of the very powerful features of the One Good Trend Pro indicator would be that of the trailing support and resistance. Let me turn on this box right away. Pump. There we go. Right. So you can see, right, when we got the bullish signal popping out in May, right, another bullish signal coming out in July. Well, the trailing support, this green line that is below the price, can you see? Right, it follows the price as it moves up. Right. So as Yangzijiang Financial Holding move up, it follow up, flat, up, follow. Right. So you don't follow too close also. Like you give it the breathing space. All right, to move up, you account for the volatility such that any natural pullbacks is fine. It's okay. As long as we're still above it, we are fine. Question, are we still above it? Yeah, we're still above it, right? You can see that there's still some space between the price and the trailing support that give it the space, right? So you can see the trailing support is slightly lower, maybe at about $1.10. Does it make sense about, right? Which is lower than the horizontal support that I drawn at 115. So why is it lower? Well, because you got space, right? You give it a bit more space, you account for the volatility. So if you stay above this trailing support that account for the space, still okay as well. That's still okay as well. That would be near the $1.10. Now, as I say, I'm not too sure whether you were near that support level for you to buy, because many times it near, it kind of like dip a little bit and buyers come out and push even higher. All right, but some of the support levels you could think about getting in would be near 115. All right, consolidate. We see other confirmations like bullish candlestick coming back. That could be a good entry to think about getting in again, right? And of course, you want to have a plan as well, right? Not just get in and leave there and then don't bother about it, right? You want to have a plan as well, or have a stop loss. If, for example, right, let's say we have got in over here, 2nd of July, right, at about 75 cents, 78 cents, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. 78 cents. Now it's $1 plus. Confirm make money, right? Of course, you don't want it to let it come all the way down and then, back to square one, right? No, you want to take steps to protect your profits. And that's where we have a plan to raise kind of like our stop loss. We can put it below the trailing support to protect our profits, such that if we go below the trailing support level, we get out, we still make money. Does it make sense, Savan? All right, so that is kind of my take on Yangzijiang Financial Holding. So far, so good. We have pretty good confirmation saying that it's more upside. As long as those support levels that I mentioned are holding, we could still see more legs to this rally. All right, that's already started since like July. All right, let me pass on the mic to Z to cover the next Singapore stock. Z, all yours.
All right, thank you, Joey. Okay, so I think the next stock that I'll be covering will be from Madam Tan, right? Madam Tan is actually asking about Beng Kuang and Wehe. You are thinking of entering lah. So I will assume that maybe you don't have any positions for this. So yeah, maybe I can cover WeHer for now. So we can take a look at WeHer, right? I mean, you don't have to zoom out too much, but basically what we are seeing here, maybe I will just zoom out until the mid of last year, right? And what we are actually seeing, right? Actually, it was this stock was actually trading sideways and consolidating sideways since, you know, last year Q4, right? You know, October, November, December. You can see that it was actually, you know, kind of like just going up and down, up and down. It's like kind of boring lah, like within a range lah, okay? But it will be good for those range trader, right? So it was actually trading between the range of about 35 cents to about 48 cents based on the price action that we see over the past couple of months, right? Then subsequently, somewhere in July this year, it actually broke above this range that it was actually testing, right? So many times, right? And it broke above this 48 cents, right? Turning it to become a support level, right? It was actually a resistance for so many months, right? And now it become a support level. And what we have here is right now, right? We don't have just one GT bullish signal, but we got 1, 2, and 3. 1 GT bullish signal that is playing out, and there is still no bearish signal yet, right? So let me just see from where we are at the very first signal to where we are now, it's about a 75% rise in price, right? Based on the bullish signals that we saw back in April, right? And right now, price is about 72 cents. So by the way, TradingView, if you guys are using it, you guys would have known it's almost live lah, okay? It is like pretty live lah, I would say, the price, right? So right now, after it actually broke above the 48 cents, right, it seems to have found an even new higher support, right, around this 625 to about 640, right, this level, right, because when it broke above, it came back to actually retest, right? It came back to retest. Buyers came in to retest this level, 62 cents. Buyers came in to support it, right, and push the prices up even further. So I would say from 48 cents, yes, it's actually a new support level being found, right, because it broke above it, and then it went up even higher. Prices came down to retest, and a new higher support has been found. So the new higher support now, I would say, will be around this 625, right? 625, this level right over here, right? When buyers came in to support the prices. And right now, where are we at? We are at about 72 cents, right? But over the past couple of weeks, what do we see is that we see selling pressure coming back where? Near this psychological 80 cents, right? This is where we actually started to see, you see the bearish candlesticks that came in, and prices came, selling pressure came in to push the price back down, right? So 80 cents, I would say right now, it would definitely be the immediate resistance like that I'm actually looking at, right? 80 cents right over here. So in terms of Madam Tan, right, you are thinking about entering, right? So just now, Joey has actually shown you guys, you know, one of the very powerful feature, which is the trailing support, right, function. So that is what I want to show you over here as well. Okay, so with a click of button, I turn it on. And right now, what do we see? Right, we see that prices have been trailing. Prices have been following the trailing support, this green line, right, has been following the prices as it moves up, right, as it moves up, like what Joey mentioned. And is prices actually above the trailing support now? Yes, that is ideally what we want to see when we are thinking about buying into a stock, right? And in terms of trend wise, right, when we look at the trend, we should be looking at the moving averages lah, right? So when we're moving averages, we look at the green line, the red line, and the blue line. Wait, sorry, let me just turn this off. All right, so green line, red line, and blue line, right? Red and the blue line represents longer term moving average, right? And it's the longer term. Is it still up? Both of these are still pointing up, right? Short term, in terms of the green line, which is 20 days moving average, it was going up. It's kind of like flattening out right now. At least it is not pointing down yet, right? It's just flattening out. And back to me turning this trailing support on, right? What do we see? This trailing support is kind of also going sideways, right? And based on the 1GT framework that Joey has, right, we want to think about buying stock that is what, in an uptrend, right? You don't want to buy a stock that's in a downtrend, right? Because why you want to buy a stock that's going down? You want to buy a stock that has a higher probability of going up. So when we think about buying stocks in an uptrend, where do we want to buy? We don't want to anyhow buy now. You want to buy near potentially a support level, right? And when I turn this on, this is essentially a trailing support, and it trails the prices as it moves up, right? And this trailing support, as you can see, if I were to zoom in, right, you can see that from the candlestick to the trailing support, there is like so-called a gap, right? You can see some gaps over here, right? And that gap actually accounts for the stock volatility, right? It accounts for the stock volatility. Every stock got different volatility lah. So every stock will be different, right? But this actually accounts for WeHer's volatility, right? And right now, what do we see? We see that prices is actually heading back towards this trailing support. So potentially, right, Madam Tan, maybe what you can consider is to set some price alert near this support zone, right? The support zone maybe around this 6.95, 70 cents, 70 cents to 6.95, and even 7.10, 7.20, right over here, right? This is what we call a support zone near the trading support, and that's where potentially you can position yourself for entry. But of course, if you do enter, right, you need to think about your stop loss and need to think about your downside, right? So like what Joey mentioned, if the price actually break below a trading support, not so good, right? Because you give it room to breathe, it still break below the trading support. And then that is where you want to protect your downside. And that's where you want to think about having, some stop loss plan in place, a couple of bits or even a few percentages below, right, the trailing support to actually manage your downside. But of course, this one, the upside, what we are looking at based on this would be about close to 15% if let's say prices were to head back up to the resistance that we have identified, which is the 80 cents. Okay, so Madam Tan, I hope that helps, whereby we make use of the trailing support to give you an idea of where can you potentially position yourself for entry, and also in terms of the upside targets that we are looking at if prices head back towards the resistance level. Okay, so that would be a very quick one for we her. I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Dee. Let's move on to the next one, right? Very quickly, I would say that the next one would be this company called Geo Energy, right? Timothy, right? Good to have you join us over here today, Timothy Fu. Geo Energy, you bought at 42 cents 2 years ago. Now it's 0.46. Actually, up a bit now, 0.47 already. Wow, up a bit. Okay. Hold or sell, right? So I think you bought, thanks for giving me a bit of context. So you bought 2 years ago. 2 years ago is when? Like now is maybe 2023. So I think you bought it in like, quite long ago. Maybe 42 cents. Then it go up, down, then down, all the way until 25 cents. You hold, and now lucky come back up again. Right? Very lucky. Okay, again. So normally what we want to do, right, is that we try not to hold when there are signs of weakness. So for example, let's say you have got in previously, right, in like maybe 40 over cents here, beginning of last year. You can see 40 over cents, it went to 25 cents, right? Of course, we got bearish signal. You would have probably want to get out first, right? Get it out, all right? And then when there are signs of reversal, bullish signals coming back, then you think about getting in again, right? But now, if you did not get out, and then you went all the way down, now come back up, then good but let's back to square one. You get what I mean? You're like, after 2 years, it's back to the same price. Does it make sense? All right. So it's fine to always get out, reduce some exposure, especially if you see weakness, then think about getting in again when the time comes. And that's where, you could try to time the reversal, all right? In terms, it's better than just holding it all the way down. And after when you come back up, you're just normal, all right? Back to normal price, all right? Okay. Now let's take a look at what you do right now, all right? Looking at Geo Energy. So this is Geo Energy, right? So over the past, I would say 3-4 months, quite good, right? You can see that the longer term trend, the red and the blue line, has started to turn up, right? So longer term trend has turned up. So quite good, right? That was like since March, April, red above the blue, both pointing up, all right? Starting to form what we call higher lows as well. If you can draw, let me just go to remove this for you. And you can see we can draw what we call an upward sloping channel support line, right? Higher lows. Higher lows just means that every time you dip a bit, go up even higher. Go down a bit, push up even more. So the lows get higher. Buyers are out to defend the stock at even higher prices. They don't mind buying at higher prices. And that's why we have higher lows. All right. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign of strength just by looking at the higher lows. Of course, we can pull out the one good trend pro indicator in terms of the moving averages. So long-term trend is up. The short-term trend is not always up. You can see, previously in June, if you ask me now, I ask you to be careful. Why? Because we got a bearish signal, right? And it dipped a little bit, right? From about 35 cents, dip until like about 32 cents, all right? The green line also started to point down. And then flat. But I think it really started to wake up, all right? Somewhere around 7th of August, we got the first 1GT bullish signal. The green line from going flat also started to point up. Does it make sense? All right. And then on the 8th of September, right, just about 2-3 weeks back, we got another 1GT bullish signal. I think it go up even, you can see for yourself, started to push up even higher. So good for you. Lucky, it's starting to see a bit of reversal. Okay. Right now, what we say is that short-term trend, the green line, obviously still pointing up. Red and blue, they're up since a couple of months back. So they want already up. But it seems like today, right, I don't know what's happening. But guys, take a look at it right now. This is like almost live. Okay. Over the past 2-3 weeks, we will actually cap below that 46 cents resistance level. You see what I'm saying so far? All right. touch, we come down, red color candle came down, all right, a little bit of a kind of like shooting star right over here, bearish candle, we came down. Basically, over the past 2 weeks, even though we are holding quite well, the short-term trend is up and stuff, we actually face a horizontal resistance at that 46 cents. Look at this, right? We're just below it. We just couldn't get above it. Every time go up, we can see sellers came back all the way down. We got long upper shadows, long upper wicks in the candles right over here. In fact, just yesterday or so, you can see, came back down. But today, it never come back down, right? I mean, you can see right now, today we went to, 47, right? 47, now it's like 0.47. So I think, Timothy, maybe you want to put this stock in your watch list, right? My take is this, right? If you asked me last week, then I mean, if you want to take some profit near 46, you're below it, it is fine. Take some profit. I'm not too sure exactly how many shares you bought. It depends on your position size as well. If it's a trading position, you can take some profit near a resistance level. That is if you asked me last week, right? But now if you ask me, well, I mean, as of today, you ask me, then it's a bit different story because we are actually attempting to break this horizontal resistance that we have been staying below for 2 weeks. Does it make sense? All right. And that could offer more upside if, I say again, if we can stay above that 46 cents today. I mean, now it's only like about 11:07 a.m. Right? I mean, not even lunchtime yet, but let's assume, let's pretend that tonight, all right, maybe by 5 p.m., by today, or up to next week, all right, we can close above the 46 cents. We go to 47, 47, 48, 47 half. I think that could be kind of like a sign of strength coming back again, all right, as another confirmation that we would potentially start to push even higher. We would have got out of this, kind of like 2 weeks consolidation. Okay, something like this over here. You can see, right, previously, we were consolidating. Look at this, right? Came down, consolidate below, pam, up. Then rest again, pump. Now maybe it's like, making its move up again. Does it make sense? All right, as we consolidate, we see a resistance, pump. We go up, rest, pump. Maybe we might move to another higher phase. So what could be the potential upside targets? Well, we could do a little bit of a projection based on what we've seen previously. We look at the past to see if any resistance level previously. So nothing much to see. So we could do a bit of a projection, like from here all the way to here. Targets could be revised even higher, above 46. Maybe all the way to that, 52, 53 level, all right? That could be what we call some of the potential upside targets, right? If we were to stay above that 46. So put this on your watch list. I think overall, it looks good. We stay above 46. Targets could be revised even higher, all right? And there could still be more upside momentum for Geo Energy, all right? So I hope that helps, Timothy, all right? So let's move on to the next Singapore stock. Z?
All right, so the next stock that I have over here will be by Sherry, right? Sherry, I hope you're still here. You're asking about SIA, right? So let me share my screen. Okay, so SIA, let's take a look at SIA. So may I know what should be the entry price for SIA? Okay, so I already turned on the signals, right, for you guys to actually see, right? So maybe you guys over here, right? I think we have about 340 people over here today with us in the morning, right? So maybe you guys can help me and Sherry out as well. Based on what you see now, and I turn on the signals already, right? Based on Sherry's question, right? In terms of entering, do you guys think that she should be patient, right? Or you think, wow, now the price at 648, cheap, buy now. Maybe you guys can let me know. Be patient, you type P, right? Buy now, you type B. B for buy, P for patient. Maybe you guys can let me know in the chat, okay? So make it a bit more interactive for you guys, not just listen, right? But you guys can also participate as well, okay? So what do you guys think? Should Sherry be patient or should she just buy now? Because now it's like 648, right? Cheaper than last time. Last time was like $700. Should she buy now or should she be patient? Let's see, what do you guys think? Okay, wow, okay, a lot of you guys, okay, Lilian to say buy, Kenneth, P, a lot of you guys, P, Ada, also P, David, P, Madam Tan, P, Helen, P, okay, P, let's see why maybe they type P, all right? Okay, let me just pull back up the chat over here by Sherry for SIA. Okay, so a lot of you guys say P, so let's see why do we actually say P, right? Because I also agree with you guys saying that Sherry should actually be patient and don't rush in, right? Because why? First thing, of course, I really turn on for you guys. We play cheat a bit, right? Today I show you guys there's one and there's two 1 GT bearish signal already. And second thing, what do we see in terms of the trend? Number one, we see that this green line, 20 days moving average, it has point down, actually attempted to actually, have some signs of it going back up, right over here, right? Somewhere in somewhere in August, right? End of August, but then unable to go back up, and it continues to point down. And just like a couple of days ago, right, we actually got a 1GT bearish signal. This is not the first one, this is the second one, the consecutive second 1GT bearish signal, right? So that actually tells you when you have a bearish signal, right, it doesn't mean that the stock will crash, right? We always say that when we see a 1GT bearish signal, it's not the stock will crash, but it means that there is more selling pressure returning. And does it coincide with what we are actually seeing based on the trend in terms of the moving average and also in terms of the candlestick? Yes, right? Because like I've mentioned, 20 days moving average is still pointing down, right? And over the past month, we see that the price, right, has, based on the candlestick, right, has also kind of like just been going down, right? So what are some of the levels that perhaps Sherry can monitor for, and what are some of the things, right, that perhaps you can monitor for in terms of positioning yourself for entry, but don't have to rush lah, because like what the rest of them say here, right, and also my sentiment as well, we could potentially be patient for this particular stock, and there are certain things that we want to look out for, right? And what are they? So number one, first thing is that you want to take note of these. This is one of the very, I would think, a very crucial support level as well, at the $6.40. This was actually the low, right, back over in June. And this level was also tested one time in May, one time in June. And this is the immediate low that I want to monitor if prices is actually really able to hold above this $6.40, right? Because if it doesn't, and if it breaks below, do you think that the longer term moving average, now the 20 days moving average, we know green line is already pointing out. Do you think if it breaks below this 640, the red and the blue line will also start to show signs of it? Maybe have some signs of it pointing down, then that's not so good, right? Because like what we mentioned, we want to only buy a stock when it is in an uptrend, right? So 640, I would say, will be a very crucial support level, definitely to monitor if whether it can continue to hold above this level. And second thing that perhaps Sherry, you also want to consider to monitor would be for the 20 days moving average, right, to stop pointing down, at least to stop pointing down first, right, and have some stabilization and point sideways. Because if all three moving averages are pointing sideways, what potentially could we see? We could potentially see consolidation, sideways consolidation. Perhaps it could be within a range of 640 to about 665, because this was a resistance, right? And this level has actually been tested. It was attempting to break somewhere in August, but unable to, right? So I think for Sherry, right, like what I mentioned, maybe what you can do is to set some price alert, right? Set some price alert near this 640, right? To actually monitor whenever it reaches the 640, does it hold above the 640 or not? That's one. And number two, to monitor for the 20 days moving average to at least stabilize first, right? And even better is if we actually get another 1GT bullish signal coming out to give us another layer of confirmation that potentially, we might see more strength returning to this counter. Because at this point in time, based on what we are seeing two 1GT bearish signal and short-term weakness. So we want to be a bit more patient and don't rush into a stock just because you think that now price $6.47 compared to when it was like about 2-3 months back, it was at $7. Now it's cheap. But we don't just buy a stock because you compare the price a few months ago and think that it's cheap, because cheap can become even cheaper if the key support levels were to be broken. Okay, so those are some of the things that I would like to share with you, Sherry, and those are some of the things and some of the levels, right, that I hope that perhaps you can actually set some alerts and to keep a watch for. All right, so with that, I'll pass the time back to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, very good one on SIA. Right, so maybe more patient. I'm glad that you guys are kind of like participating and helping us to give an opinion. All right, based on what you're seeing on the chart. Right, so anybody can do this. I mean, based on what you see, the bullish signal, the bearish signal. All right, don't need me to say. I think you all can see yourself whether it's time to buy or not. All right, like what Z has mentioned as well. All right, okay. Now let's move on very quickly to the next one, right? And I think that would be one of the stocks that a lot of people are asking about. Centurion. I think we have. Let's see who is asking about it. We have like Damien, good morning. Can I have your thoughts on Centurion? I bought at $1.51. Seems to have slid back down. All right, yeah, seems like it's seeing a bit of weakness right over here. Right, so let's find out in a bit. We have, let's see, Helen. What happened to Centurion? I have $1.70. Should I continue to hold? $1.70, right over here. Maybe you bought maybe about 1 month ago or something like that, right? 170. We have a Chinbun as well. I want to buy Centurion. What is the entry price to go in? Best. Well, it seems to be a couple of alerts right over here. Let me just quickly close this, right? Okay. All right, so you're thinking about buying. So some thinking about getting out, some thinking about buying, some, let's see, right? Is Centurion downtrend right now? So let me just go into cover Centurion right now, since a lot of people have been asking about Centurion. All right, and thanks for giving me a bit of a context, all right, for Helen as well as for Damien and Chinbun, right? So you can see, right? This is Centurion right now. Wow. Guys, you can see that, in fact, I just got some alerts right over here on Centurion, I mean, the whole pile of alerts just came out right over here for Centurion. It just happened live. In fact, I was closing it, right? You can see that, well, we have another, it seems like this is happening right now. We have a new, I mean, the first one already came out, all right? The first 1GT bearish signal came out right over here. That was in July, all right? And today, all right, the market is not closed yet, but it seems like right now, in terms of the criteria, we have broken some of those support levels, maybe at about 155 to 160, whereby we could trigger even more selling. All right, so let's go back to your question right now, right? I mean, you can see that Centurion was actually a pretty strong stock. I mean, since last year, we have been covering it. I mean, look at this, right? We won't go too far. Look at this, right? Bullish signal, bullish signal, all right? Bullish signal, bullish signal, all right? I mean, the most recent one from here all the way to here, 41% in 2 months, all right? So when we see a bearish signal, all right, like Helen, all right, I think you got in maybe around here, but by right, you don't get in because why? You got a bearish signal, why you want to, you know, buy if you see a bearish signal, right? So when you see a bearish signal, doesn't mean it's going to crash. But I mean, I would say that when you see a bearish signal, it means that there's some selling, heavy selling coming back. All right, you probably want to be a bit more cautious or be a bit more patient. Something like SIA that Z covered, right? Just watch it a while first. Wait for some, signs of stability. Maybe a new bullish signal coming out. Then you think about getting in again. All right. So this is Centurion. You can see that. Well, we got a bearish signal. The green line that was going up from April. Then the bearish signal came out. The green line, of course, never go up, right? It started to flatten out as a confirmation of the trend turning from up to sideways. Sideways, very boring. Up, down. Sideways just means a sideways consolidation, right? And if you ask me right now, just let me know, guys, right now, whether the short-term trend, all right, is up or down, right? Up or down. Up, U, D for down, all right? Let me know. This time to check, guys. What do you guys think about the short-term trend, the green line? Don't need to bluff yourself, the green line. Is it up or down? Just time to check, guys. What do you guys think? U for up, D for down. All right, red, D, down. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. All right, so we have down, Bunny down, Gloria down, Vincent down, Helen as well, Karen down. All right, thank you so much. All right, I mean, you can see it for yourself, it is down. I mean, if you ask me last week, then I would say it's sideways. All right, but now it's confirmed not up. Correct. So it is down. So the short-term trend has turned down. Not just yesterday or last week, or today. In fact, since like last week, already starting to point out a bit, right? So there are definitely some signs of the trend turning down in the short term. I say again, in the short term, not long term. Long term actually still okay. Look at the red and blue line, actually, still okay. We got bearish signal came down and palm, bearish signal came down, palm, go up some more, right? So in the short term, we are seeing weakness, all right? To where? All right, where can we potentially see some bargain hunting coming back? Well, we don't have to rush to get in, right? So back to the the question right over here, should I continue to hold? So normally when we see a bearish signal, first of all, we try not to hold too much. We try to reduce our exposure. We want to follow our plan to get out, to cut loss, especially if two bearish signals actually come out. So that's to answer your question, Helen. All right, we normally don't want to hold all the way down because we have no idea how low it can go, right? Because it might go down to 140, and 140 could be a good support level, all right? Maybe to 130, all right? Maybe to 150. I don't know, right? Nobody knows where we could potentially hit to, but those are what we call support levels where potentially some bargain hunting can come back again, right? So the things that we try not to want to hold down, because if the short-term trend is down, we might go down, and down. So you might break the support, push lower, break the support, go lower. So you might get stuck just by going all the way down, right? So we try not to do that, right? Next thing, I think for Chin Boon, I want to buy Centurion. What is the entry price to go in? So someone to sell, someone to buy, some holding, want to cut loss, right? So you see different people, different. But I would say for Centurion right now, probably not. How many of you think that you should buy Centurion right now? Like, just go and buy now. Right? Just type B for buy, guys, if you think buy, or type W for wait if you think we should buy or wait. B for buy, W for wait. All right, maybe you can help me to advise Chin Boon a bit. All right, do you think we should buy, type B for buy, or W for wait? I mean, you'll see yourself lah. What do you think? All right, Chin Boon, I want to buy Centurion. What is the entry price to go in? All right, so let's see, right? Wait. All right, very good. All right, so yeah, I think most of you are saying wait, which is correct, right? I mean, I would say to want to wait as well. Why? Because right now, as I mentioned, we are indeed seeing a second bearish signal came out. The short-term trend has turned down as well, all right? You want to be a bit more patient in terms of entry, right? So potential entry levels, as I said, would be near 140, it could be 150, it could be 130. We have no idea, right? It could even be $1. No, nobody knows, right? Of course, we've started to see a bit of weakness because Centurion Corporation, I mean, it started to push up because of this launch of the Centurion accommodation REIT that started over the past few days. It spiked up. So I think a bit of interest going to that, all right? So maybe a bit of selling, kind of like sell on the news kind of thing, all right, that came out. And this way started to see a bit of a pullback, right? So potential entry levels would be anything from 130 to 140 to 150, right? But let me just be clear, Chibun, doesn't mean I draw this support level means that, oh, it go to 132, oh, this is when buy, right? Because 130 support mass, so go to 132 support, it should rebound from support mass, so just go and buy, no, all right? That's not what you should do, right? Because going to support is going to support, right? But going to support and seeing something near the support, right, in terms of the reversal near the support, in terms of another bullish signal, in terms of the green line, all right, go down, then start to U-turn back up, something like over here. That is what we want to look out for at the support, right? So not just say go support and just go and buy. No, right? Going support is just one confirmation, right? But if we do get more confirmations near that support level, whereby it has rebounded previously, right? And we get more confirmations like the short-term trend turning up, maybe another bullish signal, like this thing you like take and then you take and you maybe you pace over here or something, right? And that would be a sign of a reversal to get back in again to ride the recovery. But if we don't see that, then we don't want to just rush to buy lah. Does it make sense, Abang? All right. So I hope that answers your question. So I hope that we have answered a few questions like on Chimbun, all right, should you hold, all right, even for like Damien as well, right? I bought at 151. It seems to have slid that back down, all right? So yeah, it seems like we have seen a bit of weakness. Normally, probably don't want to buy, especially if you see a bearish signal, short-term trend down. We don't want to rush. I think all of you have mentioned to be wait, to be patient, and that's my take as well. All right, Ken. So that is Centurion. Let me pass on the mic to Z. Z. Oh yes.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so I think the next stock that I have over here would be by Anmut Yatri. So sorry if I pronounced the name wrongly, okay? But then, okay, I'll be covering GSD, right? You would like me to cover GSD. Okay, so let's take a look at GSD because you said that you plan to go long systematically over next few months. So you're planning to buy over next few months. But I'm not too sure if you're already having a position or, adding on existing position or it's totally a new position. All right, so let's take a look at this. Let me just close all of this first. All right, and let's see. Okay, so when we just take a look at these, right, with the signals that are turned on, right, first thing first, we look at the trend, right? And when we look at trend, I always mention that we don't have to focus anything else. Even if let's say I turn off this buy and sell signal, okay, let's see, yeah, over here like that, yeah, and then we just look at this, look at the price, look at the moving average. This by seeing just these alone, the moving averages, right, will allow us to know like, hey, is this stock actually is an uptrend or downtrend, right? And of course, for this particular stock, right, that actually tracks the gold prices, and it's very, you can see right over here, right? It has a very close relationship with the spot price of gold, all right? So this is actually in the Singapore exchange, right? GSD, the code. This is actually in the Singapore exchange. So those of you guys who want to have a bit of gold exposure, for hedging, to keep for the long term, things like that, and you want to take part in some gold exposure, right, but still be in the Singapore market only, then this is one of those that you can actually consider, because in the US market, there's another one called GLD, all right? But today we'll be focusing on Singapore market, and we talk about GSD, all right? So back to this in terms of the trend, right? We can see that the trend, right, of course, the longer term trend, I don't really need to talk about. If I were to zoom back even to 2024, right over here, you can see that the longer term trend has been intact since 2024, right? It has just been going up and going up. The red and the blue line sloping upwards. Short term trend, green line, there are some periods whereby it is going sideways, right? You can see that going sideways, you go back up again, go sideways, go up, sideways, go up, sideways, go up, right? And now we are currently at about 445, right? 445. Okay, and when I turn on the signals, let's take a look. The signals turn on. There we go. And we see, what do we see? We see two consecutive 1 GT bullish signal, right? So we know that the long-term trend, short-term trend now is all pretty much intact. It's in the uptrend, and we get confirmation from 2 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal, right? And now price is about 445. And what do we know in terms of the support and resistance? Because after you analyze the trend, you know that it's in the uptrend, you got confirmation from the bullish signal. We want to know where are the support levels for me to potentially set some price alert to position myself for entry, right? So support level rise, I would say, I think it will be around this 420 right over here, because back in somewhere in April, right over here, right, we actually see this candlestick and prices actually came back down, selling pressure came back down, and this candlestick has what we call a very long upper shadow. So when we see long upper shadow, right, it basically tells you that, hey, you know, the selling pressure throughout the day is very strong. It pushed the selling pressure and the sellers push the price all the way down. That's why we have this long upper shadow, right? And then subsequently, right over here, it was tested and it eventually broke above it somewhere in early September, right? And now prices is actually still holding above this 420 level, okay? And in terms of resistance wise, right, as you can see, I already drawn this resistance about 460. Then you might be wondering, hey, how did I actually get this resistance level about 420, right? Very simple. How I did that was actually based on the projection right over here, right? The range that it was actually trading at, and I actually projected up from the 420 resistance lah. Very simple. And that's how I actually got a 460. So that is a potential target that we can monitor, right? We can actually potentially take some profits. If let's say you're already holding on to some position, there is nothing wrong to take some profits near a resistance level. Okay, so and in terms of three question, right? You are saying that you're planning to go long, right? So thinking of buying, right? Thinking of buying, where can we potentially think about buying? The other thing that I've shown you guys earlier was same thing, right? Turn on the trailing support function. And what can we see? We can see that right now prices, is it above the trailing support? Yes, it's above the trailing support, right? And what we can potentially do is to set some price alert near the trailing support, right over here, right? Near to the trailing support, whereby you can potentially set some price alert to position yourself for entry, because ideally what we want to achieve is to enter near a support zone, right? Near a support zone. And this trading support is dynamic, right? It moves as the price moves. It trails the prices as it moves. And you can see right over here, right? When prices is actually near the trading support, this is what we want to actually capture, right? And subsequently, price actually moves up. Same thing right over here, right? You see back in last year, December, right? Price near the trading support. This is what we want to capture as well, all right? So when prices is near the trading support, that is potentially where you can consider to set some price alert to actually position yourself for entry lah. But of course, the thing is that I also want to remind you that, you know, there is nothing wrong for you to take profits, right? If you enter near the trading support already, if it reaches a resistance, nothing wrong to take profit. But don't take full profits lah, because I would not recommend to take full profits yet, because we see that the longer term trend has been intact, and plus furthermore, it is intact since 2024. So longer term trend still intact, right? So when you reach resistance, like what I mentioned, don't have to take full profit, don't have to rush, okay? And along the way, if prices actually make new higher highs and we found new higher support, that is where you can potentially add more position as well and to increase your exposure, okay? So yeah, that would be a very quick one for GSD, and I hope that helps for you to actually think about where can you potentially set some price alert to position yourself for entry, okay? So back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Let's move on to the next one. All right, and that would be for this company that is, let's see, SembCorp Industry right over here. And that would be asked by Styler. Good to see you here, Styler, right? Joining us almost every Friday, right? Styler, SembCorp Industry. Okay, let's see what you say, right? You sold at $7.20. All right, very good. So you sold maybe somewhere, maybe when it was coming down or something, right? So, or maybe somewhere when it's going up. All right, 720, 750, good. Has been dropping for the past 2 months. Yeah, indeed, it's been dropping, right, for the past almost 1 over month now. Can buy around 605. So you sold already, so now looking to maybe buy back again. Hopefully you can reverse back up, right? What's the trend? Average cost price 3.77. So very good. All right, you sold some, you're still holding some, but maybe you want to think about getting in again, right, to potentially ride the reversal. So let's just go through very quickly. I can see that for SembCorp Industry, well, we got a couple of bullish signals coming out. There was in April, May, all the way up. There was some news that came out. I think profits or revenue came in below expectation. It's surprised to the downside, and we started to see quite a heavy sell down that day. I think more than 5-6%. Right, we got a bearish signal that came out, and after that we went even lower. Right, from $7 to $6.50, $6.20. Now is $6.02. Now it's 602, right? So when you get a bearish signal, guys, especially you look at the green line yourself after the bearish signal, the green line that was going up since April, also started to point down, right? And then you still want to hold for what, right? I mean, get out first, take some profit, right? And then, wait for a re-entry, Okay, now, so let's go back to your question, right? Now the price is 602, right? Should you be thinking about getting in around 605? In fact, now 602 cheaper than your 605, huh? Should you buy around 602, 603, 604, 605? Well, I think quite clearly you could see, guys, that the stock, all right, SembCorp Industry, have found a bit of a support level, right over here. Let me just go to draw this line right over here. You can see this is a $6 psychological support level, right? And the green line, that's been going down over the past 2-3 weeks. Finally, never go down, lucky, huh? It has started to flatten out, right? Great, right? It just means that we have found, right? So once the green line flattens out, it means that the short-term trend has turned from down to sideways, and we would potentially have found a support, right? Which is correct, because we found a support at $6, right? So we started to see some sideways consolidation above that newfound support at $6. Does it make sense so far? All right. So the question is this, right? Oh, so since that we have rebounded from $6 a couple of times, for the past 1 over month, we rebound, right? Should we think about buying near the $6, 602, 601, 603, right? Can buy near support, hopefully can rebound, right? Should we do that? Well, let's go to discover that. You can see that normally what we want to do is that doesn't mean you go near support at $6 and then it has been holding, means you buy. I mean, not say you cannot. I mean, you can, right? But the point is that $6 is where we have been rebounded over the past 2 months. But it doesn't mean that this support cannot be broken, right? It doesn't mean that this $6 support cannot be broken, right? You can see rebound. All right, very good, right? This is the range, $6 to 620, up, down, down. Again, I don't know whether you go up and down, right? I don't know, right? So that could be what it's doing, $6 to 620, a 20 cents range for the next few, weeks or months. I don't know, right? So the question is that, should you think about buying near $6? Well, you can if you want, because we have indeed, rebounded a couple of times near $6, right? But we normally don't want to do it. Why? Because this bearish signal is still in play, right? The green line is flat. Is it really pointing up? No lah, it's not pointing up lah. I mean, you say down, maybe a bit down, sideways, but not really up. Does it make sense? Right? So if you really want to get in at near 601, 602, can, right? You want to probably get out over here. It's a 3% upside. So the upside reward also not say a lot. Downside, well, if we were to break the $6, we could see the green line maybe turning down more, right? So I have no idea. It's like kind of like a little bit of a consolidation mode. You can try to get in near support, but if you break $6, please have a plan to get out. If you go to to 595, 596, 94, 93, it breaks the support and we close below $6, then you want to be careful. You want to make sure you have a plan to get out, right? So what we are looking for is this, right? To get back in, right? So to answer your question, right? So we try not to buy near $6, right? Then when do we want to think about buying? Well, we want to think about buying when this thing happens, right? If we can break the 620, right? As I say, for the past 2-3 weeks, in fact, 1 over month, every time we go to 620, we come down. All right. So by going above that 620 psychological resistance level, it would mean something. All right. So that would be one confirmation that we wait for. All right. The next confirmation would be if the green line that is, at least not pointing down, it's flat. If I see the green line after breaking 620 also start to turn up. Let me just put green color for you to see, right? That would be another confirmation. Does it make sense? The next confirmation would be if we see another bullish signal, something like this, can you see right over here? All right, a bullish signal, green line turn up, all the way up, right over here, a bullish signal, green line turn up. There we go. All right, over here as well, we got a bearish signal, we got bullish signal. There we go. So if we see another bullish signal coming out over here or whatever, that would be another confirmation of the reversal. And that's where if you get in, all right, it might be a bit more expensive, right? But that's where you get more confirmation that the reversal is really starting. We are seeing strength in the stock, all right, and that's where buyers are prepared to take it even higher, right? It could be the start of the reversal phase, but right now it's like a bit here, a bit there, right? Going sideways, up, down. Nothing wrong. As I say, if you're going to get in the $6 can, but have a plan, all right? In case the $6 to break down, we may see even more selling, right? To the next support, maybe to 550 to 560. that could be the next selling. So have a plan, right? Either way, it works. But the plan for me, all right, we will prefer to get the confirmation, a bullish signal, plus what I mentioned, to ride the reversal back up. All right, so I hope that helps, Tyler. All right, let me pass on the mic to Z again. Z?
All right, thank you, Joey. Okay, so let me share my screen. And the next one would be by Jason, right? Jason, I hope you're still here. You said that you bought DFI Retail Group at 3.32. Please advise the trend. Okay, so let's take a look at the trend first. Okay, if we take a look at the trend, let me just turn off the bullish and bearish signal. Okay, and we just look at the moving averages first. All right, so when we take a look at the trend, when we take a look at the moving averages, right? This is something that I like to see as well. Like, the green actually crosses the both longer term moving average, and subsequently the longer term moving average actually crosses each other, because that will give you more confirmation that potentially the trend, right, has reversed because we can see that back in 2023 it was actually in a downtrend, right? So somewhere in last year November, we actually starts to see that the longer term trend, the red actually crossed above the blue, and that's a good sign in terms of the longer term trend, right? And of course, short-term trend, as we know, 20 days moving average, it will fluctuate. It fluctuates up and down, right? Because it is short-term, right? So we still do see, up and down for the short-term trend, the 20 days moving average. But what do we see right now, right? Right now is that all three moving averages, green, red, and blue, they're actually generally pointing up, right? I mean, of course, the red and the blue, I don't have to say more, right? It is really pointing up, right? The green, it was actually pointing up, but now it starts to show some signs of it flattening out, right? At least it is not pointing down, all right? So then let me turn on the 1GT bullish and bearish signal, and let's take a look, all right? So Jason, you mentioned that you bought at, let's see, 3.32, right? 3.32, and right now I believe price is about $3.19. So perhaps you are sitting on some unrealized losses, right? And what do we see? We see a 1GT bearish signal, right? But like what I said again earlier on, to reiterate, 1GT bearish signal come out doesn't mean that the stock will crash. It doesn't mean that the stock will faster plummet down. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that there is more selling pressure returning, right? And that is also what we are seeing, because like what I mentioned, right, the price actually went up, and then after that it came back down based on the price action. And what we are seeing in terms of the short-term trend is that it also starts to flatten out, right? It is not as steep as before anymore. It has started to flatten out. So that also means it gives us more signal to that, the selling pressure has returned, and the short-term trend is not as strong as before, right? But what are some of the levels that perhaps we might want to take note of, right? Especially for Jason, since you're already in a position. And the thing is that when you're in a position, you need to think about a plan, right? A trading plan, not just enter a stock without a plan. When I talk about plan, you need to have like entry price, right? That's about entry price, enter already, and then your exit plan. What's your target to exit, and what's your stop loss as well to manage your downside, right? So based on those entry and targets, right, we actually can take reference from what we call support and resistance level. Right, so based on DFI right now, I would say that the immediate support would be one of the psychological support at this $3, right? $3, I would say, would be one of the immediate psychological support that perhaps you might want to take note of, because if prices come down, and break below the $3 level, potentially we might definitely see more weakness returning back to this about 260, right? Because 260 was actually a resistance turn to become a support, right? So I think if prices unable to hold above the $3, potential downside that we are looking at will be back towards the $2.60 level, and we do not want to continue holding on to a position if prices keep breaking support level, right? So do think about your downside plan, especially if price is unable to hold above the $3, right? But if it holds above the $3, consolidate sideways before breaking higher, great, right? Great. And if prices is near this resistance, this 340 resistance, right, this is where we started to see selling pressure returning, right? There's nothing wrong to actually take some profits, right? But if price can break above the 340, what are we looking at? Like, what's the potential upside targets that we are looking at, right? We can do this, and we can do a simple projection upwards, right? And I think the next upside target, if prices can break and hold, not just break, but break and hold above the 340, then the next potential upside targets that we are looking at will be towards 380. And if there's another 1GT bullish signal that comes out, even better, it gives you even more confirmation that the uptrend, right, is even more intact now. Together with the short term, the 20 days moving average will probably show some signs of it, pointing back up again, like so. All right. So Jason, I hope that helped to give you something to think about in terms of, you know, your trading plan, your target price, your exit price, and most importantly, right, to manage your downside, because that's one of the most important thing about trading. Okay, so yeah, with that, pass back the time over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, let's go to the next one, and that would be CNMC Goldmine. CNMC Goldmine. Seems like quite a few people is asking about CNMC Goldmine. Let's take a look at. We have Jaslyn, right? I hope you're still over here, Jaslyn. What is the entry price of CNMC? Planning to buy, but price seems to be going below the resistance. I would say is the support level. I think right, support level of $1. All right, Roland as well. CNMC, the most undervalued stock mining to buy in now. Wow. This one you're asking or telling me? Okay, so maybe let's find out. Okay, let's see. Can still enter CNMC? Or some people want to buy. All right. So I think some of you asking about CNMC. Let me just cover CNMC in a bit. But before I do that, I think there's some of you asking as well. Like we have Seatrium, right? Do you have a stock screener that provides a list of stocks when to buy and sell? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, guys. We do have what we call a screener criteria to filter out what we call the top 1% of stocks, right? And then we know when to buy and sell them using the 1GT Pro indicator. So you'll find out, guys. So today, as I said, today is an AMAS. Ask me any stock session. We are just going through your stocks. We have more than 50, 60 over stocks. So apologies, guys, if you cannot cover all your stocks. We don't even have time to cover everything, right? But the point here is that if you want to learn a bit more or discover a little bit more about the entire strategy, the one good trend strategy, right? What you can do, guys, is to attend a free webinar, right? The link is right below in the chat somewhere, right? Click on the link in the chat, register for free webinar. And that's where I think we have one next Tuesday as well. Next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m., 30th of September. Click on the link in the chat already, right? And that's where, we will share with you guys a bit more on the entire strategy, step by step, and basically how we use this through the 1GT Pro indicator to guide us on entry and exit. And so how we have a screener, all right, like what you're asking, Sheshun, to pull up the top stocks before knowing what to do with it. All right, Ken. So I hope that answers your question. Attend the free webinar. The link is right in the chat as well. Jennifer, where to get this charting? Yeah, same thing, right? Attend the free webinar. That's where we share with you guys a bit more on the entire 1GT Pro indicator. All right, and that's what we've been using based on the one good trend strategy. Okay, Ken. Okay, now let's go ahead to look at this thing right over here called CNMC Goldmine. CNMC Goldmine. Let me just pull out the chat messages from CNMC, right? What is the entry price for CNMC? Planning to buy, but price seems to be going lower. So I would say that CNMC will be probably one of the top performing stock as well since a couple of months back. Look at this, right? I mean, the longer term trend is up. We got bullish signal coming out in April, went up a bit, sideways. The second. So whenever we get like not one but two, all right, bullish signals coming out, all right, and plus more confirmation of the trend, the green line that was going sideways, turning up, that is where I think we really started to see a good move, right? So all the way up to now, it's about 99 cents, $1 right now. So very strong one. I mean, how many percent would that be, right? From here to here, about 122%, right? 122%. So very strong move, right? So let's go to turn on this very powerful feature of the One Good Trend Pro indicator, the trailing support and resistance. So you can see, right, for CNMC Goldmine, since like April, right, 11th of April, the trailing support, this green line that is below the price and following it as it moves, all right, it has popped out, right? It was right over here at 30 cents. 30 cents up, then flat. So if it flats means, it's consolidating, nothing to follow, it's not going up, so nothing to follow, right? So it's just flat, right? But it starts to move up, it starts to follow it up. So we got the bullish signal, it starts to move up, the trailing support follow from 30 cents now, follow until become 87 cents. Does it make sense, right? So we're still above, it's still kind of like above the trailing support. The long-term trend is up, the short-term trend is, the green line, right, obviously is still pointing up right now. We may be seeing a bit of support, maybe around the 90 cents. So 90 cents would become like a horizontal support level. That's where we were holding since like early of September, all right? And also maybe $1. So $1 was where we actually attempted to kind of like break to push to a higher high. So it was like, a few days, $1 to 105, up, down. But today we kind of like went below $1. Of course, the market has not closed it. So I think if today we can go back above $1, 101, 102, and we continue above $1, that will be more stable. There will be more strength. I would say that, this stock will be quite well supported above $1 if we can hold above $1. If not, then unfortunately 90 cents would be the next horizontal support level, right? So if you're looking to buy, you can see, right? it's only like 3 days that we're above $1. If today, let's say, we see another bullish candle and we hold above $1, great, right? Maybe next week you can consider, all right? But if you want to try to get in cheaper, right, then of course a better entry will be near the 90 cents to that, maybe above the trailing support level, right? So that's one thing about the stock market, right? Doesn't mean you want to buy cheaper means it will, go down for you to buy. Then check with you whether you buy already, then you will start to go up, lah. All right, it's like it doesn't happen that way, right? So sometimes you might need to buy a little bit more expensive because the price don't go down, all right? It's very strong, right? So I would say that if you're looking to buy for CNMC, well, a few things we can look out for, right? If it dips to 90 cents, we stabilize there, we get a couple of a bullish candlestick coming out like over here, right? Maybe even a hammer and stuff like that. That could lead the reversal. If we stay above $1 still, right? Today, tomorrow, next week, all right, it doesn't come down, then unfortunately you have to buy slightly higher to ride the next phase, right? And that's what has been happening, right? You can see, right? Since we got a bullish signal, up, consolidate, up, consolidate, up. Now it might be consolidating as well, but overall, I think it still looks okay if we stay above the trailing support, above 90 cents, better even above $1. The uptrend still looks intact, not just in the longer term, but also in the short term. All right, so that is CNMC Goldmine. All right. However, take note, if you have to see a bearish signal, like for example, we go below the trailing support. So this trailing support, from April follow until from 30 cents follow to now 87 cents, follow for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months already, and we're still above it. Does it make sense, All right, we've given it the space, the breathing space to be above it. So if you're okay, you're good, right? You should be above one, right? Because we give you the breathing space to be above it, right? But we give you the space, all right, but one fine day you go below it, and then something not so good, and that's where it triggered a bearish signal, right? For some of the stocks that we talked about, right? And then it started to go down, right? And then you want to be careful, all right? But now, there's no bearish signal coming out. I mean, we're still above the trailing support, so overall still looks okay. We could try to time our entry near the trailing support. If possible, if it doesn't come down, then we might have to buy slightly higher above the horizontal support level. All right, so that's for CNMC Goldmine. All right, I hope that helps. Justin, let me pass on the mic to Z. Z?
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so I think the next one that I'll be covering will be by Team, right? Team is actually asking about LHN. So let's cover LHN. I think Yong Chao also asking about LHN, right? Whether is there any 1GT signals? Okay, so maybe let's take a look at this LHN, all right? Okay, so for LHN right now, right? Is there any signals? Yes, there are signals. 1, 2, 3. I would say there's 3 consecutive 1GT bullish signal. But before we even dive into the signals, right? When we talk about the trend, what we are looking at now, based on the moving averages, all 3 looks pretty beautiful, right? All 3 of them are actually pointing up. Green point up, red and blue are also still sloping up, right? But I think right now, right, I think one of the very crucial thing for LHN to actually look out for, right, definitely would be this 92 cents, this support level, which prices is really, today is really heading towards that support level. But if you were to ask me whether can this support level hold, I wouldn't know. Will it close below this support level today? I wouldn't know, right? Or maybe next week, I don't know. Right, I don't know, but this is the level that I think I want to monitor very closely as well, especially for LHN, because this is one of the level that you can see right over here, right? Back in July, this was where it was tested, right? This was where it was tested, and this was where it actually broke above in early September, and we got another 1GT bullish signal. So right now, prices went all the way up to about close to $1.10, right? Selling pressure came back in. We see multiple candlesticks with long upper shadow and push prices all the way back down. And now it is going back to retest this 92 cents, right? This 92 cents. And the other thing, right, that I also wanted to show you guys, right, is if I were to turn on this trading support level, okay, I turn on, you see turn off and turn it on, all right? And right over here, you can see that this trading support level actually is also indeed very, very close to this horizontal support that I've mentioned, right, about this 92 cents. So can you imagine if price is unable to hold and it breaks below this 92 cents? What will we get? Probably we will get a 1GT bearish signal, right? Because price closed below the trading support. And when price closed below the trading support, we get 1 GT bearish signal. It just means that more selling pressure has returned, right? And that is where, we want to be patient and not to rush into buying into the stock already, because that is where we want to see some sort of stabilization, like, hey, where are buyers coming back to support the prices, right? And I think if that actually happens, one of the other support level, right, the very strong and key support level will be around about this 78 cents, right? Because we can see back from June all the way to September, this was the level that buyers came back in, right, to support the prices at least 1 time, 2 times, right? 2 times over here and push the prices up before it went up even further. So I think that for LHN, right, right now, it is actually testing this support level. I think it will be good for you to actually monitor. If it can actually hold above these, no issues, right? If you can hold above this, right, then I would say definitely we are thinking of buying into a stock that's in an uptrend, right? This uptrend is actually still intact, and this would be what we consider a potential buy zone, right? But of course, if you do that, like what we mentioned, trading plan is the most important thing. Managing your downside is also the most important thing, right? And that's where you can actually potentially set some set some stop limit order, right, to actually protect your downside if you were to enter near this 92 cents. If we are able to monitor and see that, indeed it can actually hold above the 92 cents, all right? And potential upside targets that we are actually looking at will be towards the $1.10 right over here, based on the highs that we actually see and based on where we saw selling pressure actually return. All right. So I think for now, LHN, it is definitely, I think, longer term trend still good, but I think one of the key things definitely would be to monitor this 92 cents, see whether can it indeed hold above. If it doesn't, it comes down, then can it actually hold above this 78 cents? Because if it doesn't, if it still doesn't hold above, then very likely, right, what we will see, right, is prices actually coming down. Like, let me just draw this for you guys. Okay, and potentially what we will see, like I mentioned, if prices unable to hold and it also breaks below this 78 cents, right? Very likely, your 20 days moving average by then would not be pointing up already. It will probably be showing signs of it pointing down. And your 100 and 200 days moving average, right, will also show signs of it already sloping sideways or already moving sideways, because it is actually losing momentum. Okay, so these are the two very crucial level that perhaps some of you guys who are looking at LHN, that's where you want to set some price alert on. Okay, so that would be for LHN. Back over to you, Joey, to cover the next Singapore stock.
All right, thank you so much. All right, LHN. Now let's move on to the next one. All right, so you can see, guys, that there are more than, wow, today we have quite a lot of stocks, right? Quite a lot of stocks. There's more than 60, 70 over stocks. So just want to say our apologies if we cannot cover all of them, right? In fact, just to take note that at the end, right, me and Z will share 2 Singapore stocks that we like all the way to the end. I think some of you are asking, like, what's the top stock? What's your favorite stock? And kind of thing like that, right? So not to worry, as I say, at the end, 2 of us will share with you 2 Singapore stock that you can put in your watch list for more upside. So if maybe we did not cover your stock, right, then that could be the top stock. That's why we don't want to cover 2 times. Does it make sense? All right, so just stay all the way to the end. Hopefully, the stock that you ask that's not covered will be the top bonus stock. All right, and that's the reason why we're not covering. Okay, Ken? Now let's move on. Let's move on very quickly, and let's go ahead to cover the next stock, and that would be, I would say, by John, right? And what stock are you asking about? OCBC, right? OCBC, right, John? OCBC broke support at $16.40. What is the next entry price? So John, maybe you can help me over here. Are you looking to I think maybe you don't have, you're looking to buy, is it? Because you're looking at the next entry point. Is it correct, John? All right. Let me know in the chat if you're looking to buy OCBC. John? Or maybe, okay, let's maybe help John out right over here, right? What do you guys think? So this is OCBC, right? I've turned on the 1GT Pro indicator right over here, right? And you can see that, well, we got a couple of a bullish signal, all the way up, pump, 2 bearish signal in April, March, Trump tariff. A bullish signal came out, the reversal happened all the way up, right? Now, let me know, guys, that let's try to help John out, right? How many of you think that we should buy OCBC right now, right? Type B for buy or W for wait. Let me know based on what you're seeing right now for OCBC. Let me know, right? B for buy, W for wait. OCBC, buy or wait? What do you guys think? Right, at about $16, or today went down a bit more, $16.29, right? Buy or wait? What do you guys think? Okay, let's see. We have wait, Wait as well. Tina, thank you so much. Shalene, wait. All right. Lilian saying buy, wait. Ida, wait. Some buy. Dave, mostly wait. Wasong, buy, wait. Harish, wait. All right. Okay. Lawrence, take profit and wait. Wow, very good. Okay. Let's go to find out right now. So you can see that I think all of you are saying wait. Why? Because quite clearly you can see that for OCBC, well, we have not one, but we have two. All right. Two. One GT bearish signal that came out. Not today, I think yesterday and yesterday, which is like Wednesday and Thursday, all right? And of course, today went down a little bit more, all right? So we got two bearish signals. It means that there's some signs of weakness coming back already, all right? Based on the bearish signal. Let's take a look at this resistance level. Look at this, right? So if you have been following me, right, I did a coverage of the bank as well, right? So $17, I mentioned for OCBC is a very key psychological resistance level. We hit it to here in February. We sold down. We got bearish signal. It went all the way down, right? Same thing. Over the past 2 months, July, August, September, every time we neared the $17, we came down. We just couldn't go above $17. I don't know why now, right? Every time we go 17, always come back down, right? Of course, I've set my alerts such that if we were to go above 17, you can see right over here, these are some of the alerts, right? 1708, 1710, 17. Look at this. These are what we call price alerts. So every time it hits above $17, I would want to be alerted to look at this stock because that could mean some strength coming back. All right, that would mean that we could potentially hit to the next upside. Targets could be to $17.50 or even $18 if we break $17. But it didn't happen. Right? It didn't happen. All right, it went up and then come back down again. All right, and now we got two bearish signals coming out. The green line that was like sideways up. And then $17 is the resistance, right? Then it became flare, maybe up a bit, then flare sideways. Okay. But over the past 1 week, right? Wow. Let me just zoom in for you, huh? You can see that the green 20 days moving average line obviously has pointed down even before the two bearish signals came out on Wednesday and Thursday. So that's where we got another confirmation. Wow, the short-term trend is down, plus we got two bearish signals. So we try not to buy when things like that happen. All right, we want to wait for some stability. We want to wait for a pullback to those key support levels. All right, but doesn't mean, as I say, you go to support level means you just go and buy. No, you wait for a pullback to those key support levels. You wait for some confirmations of a reversal. The green line maybe don't point down already, right? I mean, like maybe flat or something, right? Or maybe start to point up a bit. There'll be signs of a confirmation of the reversal. Maybe a new bullish signal, like over here. You can see you got a bullish signal, all the way up, right? Has the bullish signal come out? No lah. The bearish signal just came out. We got a bullish signal, right? Now it's like, kind of like, making its way down, right? So let's take a look at where we could potentially hit to, whereby some buying pressure could potentially return, right? What are some of the support levels that could come out? Well, I would say that support levels quite clearly right over here. $16 could be a support level. Doesn't mean you go there, show a rebound. No, that could be a support level, all right? Next support, I would say maybe around that $15.40, $15.40 to $15.50. That was where we were, kind of like heading to somewhere in April, rebounded. All right, so $16, $15.40 to $15.50, that could be the next support level, whereby if we see confirmations, all right, of the green 20 days moving average line that is going down, right, flatten out, right, maybe over here, flatten out, point up, we get bullish signals. I think that could guide you to think about getting back in again. All right, so that is for OCBC, right? So back to your question, right? Let me just go to pull up the chat message as well, right? Where is it, right? OCBC. Okay, come. Where is OCBC, right? So we have like so many chat messages. I have to like find it, right? Maybe Z can help me find the OCBC chat messages, like just to make sure that I answered the question on OCBC. I'm not too sure if I started. Let me see.
Okay. I'm looking for it as well. There's too many chats. Give me a second.
Okay, I found it. Okay. Oh, you got another one, is it? Another OCBC?
Yeah, there's another one as well.
Okay, pull it up. Okay, I see. So a few people, in OCBC bought at 16.69. Actually bought slightly higher. And then now heading south, want to hold for dividend, can still buy more or sell now, right? So yeah, normally we want to reduce some exposure when we get bearish signal, but in terms of buying, I think I've answered what John has asked as well, right? So yeah, I hope you got that as well. We try not to buy until there's some signs of stability at least, right? Or at least some good support coming back. All right, Ken. So that is OCBC. I hope you guys have a better idea. Let me pass on the mic to Z to cover the next Singapore stock. Z, or yours?
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, so let me find. Okay, wait. Just now I saw somebody was asking me about IFAST. Okay, right over here. Lam, right? Lam is actually asking about IFAST, looking to sell, and average cost is $8.60. $8.60. Now price is about 8.76. Probably you're sitting on some profit, a little bit of unrealized profit. All right. So let's take a look at IFAST, right, and see some of the levels that maybe what are some of the levels that you can potentially take some profits, or what are some of the support level, right, to actually take note of. Like if it break, then not so good. Okay. So for IFAST, right, as you can see, this stock, right, even if back in 2024, it kind of like just go up and down, up and down. It's not really much of a very strong like uptrend, like I would say, because you can see like over the past month since 2024, right, it has just been trading like that. Yeah, right? It has just been trading like this. Not much of an uptrend playing out, I would say. And then subsequently this year, somewhere in the mid of the year, it actually broke down and kind of goes sideways. And then after it, there's some sort of interest returning back to this counter, right? And this is where we are at right now. But if we were to, don't have to look so far back, right? We just look at like what actually happened over the past couple of months and just focus on the trend, which is the moving averages, right? You can actually see that number one, this thing right over here that is occurring, right? The red actually crossed above the blue line, somewhere in the middle of September, right? That is actually a good sign. That's one of the good signs whereby longer term uptrend could potentially play out and be more intact, right? If prices were to continue to run up and break resistance, right? And the next thing in terms of the short term trend, right, we're actually seeing some signs of strength returning as well, because the short term trend now is no longer pointing down, right? It was previously pointing down in August, it was going down, 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 and somewhere in September it actually starts to point back up. Great. So it means that there is some short-term strength returning for this counter, right? But when we turn on the 1GT bullish signal, the signals, right, what do we see? We don't see a bullish signal, but rather we actually see a bearish signal happening right over here, right? I can't really recall like what actually causes this gap, but for Joey and our team, we always believe that the market will actually absorb whatever news there is, and it will actually reflect in the prices in the chart lah. So we will look at the chart and we'll do the analysis accordingly, and most importantly, to find out where are the support and the resistance level. Okay. So based on these, right, just based on these, even now we know that we got 1GT bearish signal, and based on the price action that actually has been happening since August all the way to where we are at, we can see that there is some sort of resistance, right? Where is the resistance at? Somewhere around this $9.15 right over here. I would say that this currently would be the immediate resistance that perhaps you can actually take note of, right? And to think about, this is where you can position yourself for some taking profits, right? To take some profits, partial 1/3 of the profits, right? And then that is where you can actually set some price alert, because this is near a resistance zone, right? Near the $9.15. All right. And if prices can actually break and hold, right, above this $9.50, then I think potential upside targets that we are looking at would be towards the $10 level, because number one, $10 is a psychological level, right? It's a psychological level. And somewhere in August, before it actually get down, right, prices actually nearly didn't even touch the $10, right? So $10, I think, would be the next upside target that we are looking at if prices can actually break and hold above the 9.15 first. All right, 9.15. But in terms of support level wise, right, to also manage your downside, right, support level wise, I think one of the support level that perhaps you can actually monitor or set some price alert, I think will be around this 8.35 to about this 8.50 lah. It wouldn't exactly be a line or a point, because we always talk about zones, right? Support zones, resistance zone. So one of the zones, right, in terms of support that I think maybe you can actually watch out for or take note of would be around this 8.35 to maybe about this 8.50 level right over here, right? Because if this level doesn't hold, if prices actually trade sideways and then it break below, then not so good lah, not so good. Potentially that is where we will actually get another 1GT bearish signal again, and that is where probably your 860, you're actually now sitting on profits, right? Then maybe if it breaks below, then you'll probably be sitting on losses really, and that's not what we want, right? So do think about your downside, manage your downside as well, but at the same time, monitor the upside, some of the resistance level whereby you can potentially take some profit and put the money in your pocket first. All right. So that is something for you to actually think about for IFAST, and I hope that helps. So yeah, that's a very quick one, and I'll pass the time back over to Joey to cover the next stock.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's move on to the next one, and let's see. I think that would be PropNex. All right, PropNex right over here. We have two person asking about it, right? Lihan, right? I bought PropNex at 1.95. 1.95. All right, so maybe somewhere over here, maybe somewhere in August lah. All right, price hit a high of 244. Now retrace back. Now it's 232. All right, can accumulate more. All right, please advise. So you bought it. I'm not too sure whether you sold it because you're looking at accumulating more. All right, so maybe you bought it and retrace back. You want to add more positions lah. Add more positions. So let's take a look at PropNex right now. You can see PropNex. To be honest, guys, we have covered this stock a couple of months back since June, July. We have shared with our clients. In Philips Security as well. Very strong rally from 120, 110, 140. I mean, look at the bullish signal that came out right over here, right? All the way to now, easily 126%. All right, 126%. All right. And I think you can see clearly that there is no bearish signal right now. There is no bearish signal right now, right? So let's wait to discover whether is it time to buy, is it time to take some profit. I mean, of course, if you have gone in over here at 130, 120, then I think nothing wrong to take some profit lah, near a resistance level. Why? Because we are indeed seeing, even though there's no bearish signal, right? As I say, there's nothing wrong, but the fact is that we have seen some resistance coming back, all right? Because the green line, all right, that has been pointing up since June. I mean, it was like flat, boring, right? Then we got pump 1, 2, 3 bullish signal, and then the green line also started to turn up all the way July, August, up. But now, the green 20 days moving average line has started to move a bit sideways. Does it make sense, Papa? All right, it moved a bit sideways. So once it moves sideways, it means that we found a bit of an obstacle, a resistance level, right? And let me go to draw that resistance level for you so it's very clear, right? It's very clear, right over here. $2.50. Right, $2.50. I mean, over the past 2 months, you can see that we neared it. We came back. In fact, last week we neared it, also coming back down. So I think the range for PropNex would be right over here from 220 to 250. Right, that is kind of like the consolidation range right now. So back to your question, right, Lihan, right, you bought it, right, and goes up. I think you want to take some profit near 250 is fine lah. 240 something, 42, 45, 48, 40 something, right? Nothing wrong to take some profit because that's where we could see some selling coming back again, all right? And we are consolidating, right? The green line is flattening out. We might just be, moving sideways for, I don't know, for a while. And I think that's perfectly fine as well because it's good that, if the stock moves up, I mean, 100%, right? I think it's good to take a rest, all right? Take a breather, rest a bit, get some energy back, and then before you wake up again to push for the next leg. Does it make sense? Rather than going up every other day, then you want to be careful, right? So I think it's good to, and healthy, right, to see what we call a short-term consolidation before, all right, pushing even higher. I think that's what PropNex is doing right now, right, from 220 to 250. All right, so I think if you want to accumulate more, well, I think you can consider if it stays above that 220. But let's take a look at this trailing support, right, for PropNex. Let's see what happens, right? You can see that this trailing support that has popped up since June, right? So you can see when we got the bullish signals popping out, trailing support popped up, right? Follow up, flat, follow. It goes even faster. It follow all the way until now. The trailing support is around that $2.15 right over here, right? So above 215, above 220, we are still okay lah. There's no bearish signal. We're still above. We give it the space to be above. All the while for the past 3-4 months, we are above it and we're still above it, right? So as long as we're still above it, it's still okay, right? But doesn't mean it's okay means you cannot take some profit. Like I say, you can take some profit near 250, 240 something, because that's where we are seeing selling, even though it's okay, right? We might just be moving sideways for now. All right, so I hope that, gives you a bit of an opinion on what you can do, all right? If the 250 were to give way, and you can see I've set some alerts right up here, 251, 254, all right, 252, 253. If we go above 250, I think that could be where we might get another new 1GT bullish signal. All right, and that's where we could see the next leg of upside, all right? But right now, yeah, pretty much just kept below 250 all right? Up, down, sideways, rest a bit, take some profit near 250 if one. If it does dip to 220 plus, all right, you want to think of entry, that could happen as well. All right, maybe let's take a look at Clement. And Clement also asking about PropNex, right? So Lihan is looking at to get in. Clement, right, bought PropNex at 80 cents, even cheaper than Lihan. So, right, well, 80 cents, wow, so right over here, congrats, right? 80 cents, now it's like $2 plus, 230, right? Confirm make money, right? But prices have started trading sideways recently. Any bearish signal to exit? No, all right. So Clement, you have answered the question. No bearish signal. So it looks okay. We're seeing resistance at 250. So if you want to take some profit, same thing, Clement, near 250, you can go it as well. But what you want to do, right, Clement? You have bought it at 80 cents, all right? Now it's 230. Okay, congrats, confirm make money, all right? I mean, it's like sure you are sitting on a pretty decent profit. I'm not too sure how many shares you buy, all right? But you're definitely sitting on some good profits. What you want to do, Clement, or even Lee Han, right? Or anybody who is holding this stock, you have got in, you're sitting on huge profits, you want to take steps to protect your profits, right? Protect your profits. You can put your stop loss. So all this while, you can see that the trailing support move up. You want to move your stop loss, shift it upwards, protect your profits as it moves even higher. So right now, the trailing support that gives the stock, PropNex space to breathe, is right over here at around 215. So you can put it below the trailing support, maybe 212, right? 210, just below the trailing support to protect. So in case you go back down, right? Maybe go below the trailing support, you give it the space, right? It should be above, right? But one fine day, you go below it, right? And then not so good. You want to be a bit more careful. Don't let it go all the way back down to your 80 cents price, right? That's where you can take it out, take some profit, reduce your exposure, all right? And maybe think about getting back in again when a new bullish signal returns. Does it make sense, Bob? All right, so that is for PropNex. Now, let me pass on the mic to Z to cover the next one.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, before I cover this one, maybe I'll just do a recap of some of the stocks that we have already covered, because I think I saw some of the comments, some of the stocks we have already covered, but don't worry, because after this live stream end, right, you can actually go to Joey's YouTube channel, you can actually watch the replay, and you can find some of the stocks that we have covered earlier on. All right. So for a start, Joey actually started off with, SPX, right? A bit about the US market, and then he covered the STI, which is the Straits Times Index, right? Before he actually dived into the very first stock today, which is Yangzijiang Financial Holding, followed by WeHe. I covered WeHe, then followed by Geo Energy, SIA, Centurion. The sixth stock is GSD, and the seventh stock would be SembCorp Industry, followed by DFI Retail, and then there is also CNMC Goldmine covered by Joey, and then I did LHN, right? And the 11th stock is OCBC, followed by IFAST, and Joey has just covered PropNex. All right, Joey has just covered PropNex, and now I'll be covering the 14th stock, and that would be by JH, right? JH actually asking about Yanlord, right? Whether can you still hold? So JH, I'm not too sure where you actually got into Yanlord, but by the way, for those who are new here, right, I think Joey has also, shared about Yanlord, right? This particular counter, somewhere I believe at the start of somewhere in August, right, when we are actually seeing all these bullish signals and all these signals coming out, right? And if you are already sitting on profits from Yanlord, from Joey's note, right, back in August, congratulations, right? Congratulations. But those of you who want to get ideas like that, right, then perhaps you can actually consider to be, one of our VIP clients under Philip Security lah. It's totally free, and I think the link is actually in the chat lah. Then that's where you can get free trading ideas on a daily basis via WhatsApp when it actually happens. All right. So before I go into Yanlord, right, we take a look at the trend first, right? Going back to the basics, we take a look at the trend first, right? So when you take a look at the trend, same thing, I want to look out for things that are like that, right? Things that are happening like this. This, like I've mentioned, always gives signs to the longer term uptrend could potentially play out and be intact, right? Because the key thing is we want to buy when the longer term uptrend is intact, and not just the longer term, but also the short term. I want to make sure that the short term and the long term both are in the uptrend. Then that's when we want to think about potentially entering, right? But for JH question, probably you are already holding lah, right? Then you're thinking whether can you maximize the profit and hold even longer, right? So right now, these are all good signs, right? Because red has crossed above the blue. That's one. And the second thing is in terms of the short-term trend, right? The green line is also pointing up, right? Great, right? And what do we have? We have 1 and 2 consecutive 1 GT bullish signal. There is no bearish signal yet, no exit signal yet. Still okay, right? Still okay, because we can see over here, right? Back last year in Q4, right? That is where we got our very first 1 GT bearish signal, and then consecutively we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 bearish signal, and prices came all the way down, right, from 88 cents all the way to about 40 cents, right? And this was where we started to see some signs of reversal playing back out, some recovery happening back for this stock. So at this point in time, right now, price is trading about 74 cents. And 74 cents right over here. And one thing that I want to turn on, right, would be this, right, which is the trailing support, right? Going back to the trailing support, one of the very powerful feature in this 1 GT Pro indicator, right? So when I turn this on, what do we see? We see that price, right, is actually currently still above the trailing support. So it is still okay, right? Because when price go up, like we mentioned, trailing support will trail the prices as it moves up, right? And right now, prices selling pressure came back in, right, to push price back down, and is going towards currently the trailing support around this 715, to about 720, right? This level right over here. So what I want to monitor, especially for John, if you are still holding on to this position, right? If you are already holding on to this position, before that, you should already have your stop loss plan in place. I'm not too sure where is your stop loss plan in place or where is your stop loss level. All right. But if prices is unable to hold above this trailing support at about 715 to 720, right? That's where we'll get what we call a 1GT bearish signal. And that's when we know that more selling pressure will ensue, right? And that's where you want to, if you are still sitting on profits, right, by then, that it will be good for you to actually take some profits lah, because prices likely it could actually head back towards the next support level, the horizontal support level that I've drawn right over here, which is about the 64 cents, right? 64 cents. So there's nothing wrong to actually take profits if we actually see a 1GT bearish signal or it is actually near a resistance level. All right. Then for this Yanlord, right, the other resistance level that I also want to bring your attention to, right, is this level right over here at the 88 cents, right? This 88 cents, right, back in last year, October, this was where prices actually surged, right? And that was where we actually saw selling pressure returning and this super huge long red candlestick that happened on, what is this, 8th of October, right? And subsequently, then we got the 1GT bearish signal. So I would say that this 88 cents, right, is also one of a very crucial resistance level. So if prices is actually able to hold above the trading support like this and it slowly move back up to 88 cents, right, there is nothing wrong. I want to say there's nothing wrong for you to actually take some partial profits near this 88 cents as well, especially so, like I've mentioned, right, earlier on, we actually see these signs actually happening whereby the longer term trend could potentially play out, right? Potentially play out. So maybe you might want to set some price alert near this 0.715, 0.720, this level right over here to monitor, right, to see whether can you really hold above this trailing support or not, right? If prices goes up, this trailing support goes up, yeah, no issues, right? No issues. You can continue to actually ride the uptrend by, placing your stop limit order slightly below the trading support. And if it reaches the 88 cents, nothing wrong for you to take some profits as well. All right. So those are some of the things and some of the levels that perhaps JH you can actually take note of and to consider as well for the existing position for Yanlord. All right. So yeah, with that, back over to you, Joey, to cover the next stock.
All right, so I think now we would have covered like a total of 14 stocks. Maybe let's just do one more round. Let's do one more round before we go through the two bonus stocks that you guys can put in your watch list. Right, so let me go to share my screen. Just do one more final round. Let me just see. Right, I think maybe I can pull out. So as I say, guys, right, there's more than we are scrolling through all the messages, like 70, 60 over stocks. All right, some of them are the same. All right, so if you have covered the stocks, we will not cover again. You can watch the replay to find out. But let's see. Right, I think. Let me choose one more. Right, I would say we have Seatrium. Right, let me go to share my screen right now. All right, and this is Seatrium Limited at about $2.39. So Shah, I hope you're still over here, right? Seatrium, you bought at $2.35. Thanks for giving me a bit of context, right? What is your idea long term for Seatrium? Wow. Let's not go too far, but you can see that for Seatrium, we staged a pretty good recovery, I would say somewhere since September last year. All right, we got a bullish signal, green line turn up, flat up. So look at this, right? All the way up, all the way up. Then what happens? We got bearish signal. And then of course, be careful, get out, right? All the way down again. Then what happens in April after the Trump tariffs and all that? We got a bullish signal coming out, another one coming again, right? And then we started to push even higher from like 180 now become about 230 something. Does it make sense? All right. So overall, I think it still looks okay. I mean, the most recent signals would be in like July, and that would be a bullish signal, the second 1GT bullish signal. The long-term trend, if you look at the red and the blue line, so you can see, right, the red line, 100 days moving average, is still above the blue, red pointing up, blue pointing up, so still okay lah. All right. Let's take a look at the short-term trend, right? Shah, you can see that the short-term trend. Well, if you ask me like last week, then I would say that the green 20 days moving average line was actually quite boring. It's like, then like down a bit, then like sideways, correct? Sideways. But over the past like few days, it seems like the green 20 days moving average line has just beginning or just started to point up. Does it make sense? I mean, not very clear yet because only like 1-2 days only, but you can see that there's some signs of it starting to point up, right? So I think you want to put this stock in your watch list. I mean, if you're looking to, you've bought it, you want to ride more upside. Well, I think it looks definitely more bullish than, when it was like, last week it was just sideways. I think now at least we're trying to attempt to push higher. But take note of this very key resistance level that we are indeed seeing for Seatrium, right? Look at this, right? That would be what we call the $2.45. So 245 was a little bit of a support here. We broke down. Bearish signal came out and went all the way down, right over here. Same thing over here in July, we touched 240, we came down. We neared it, we came down. Today, and I mean over the past few days, we near it, and then we like also coming down again. Does it make sense? Right? So it seems like this 245 like a bit hard to cross lah. I mean, there's a horizontal resistance level, right? So you want to set some alerts. So what you could do, you can see I set some alerts, 247, 248. If we can go above 245, or maybe even above 250, even better lah. I think that would be where we could get more confirmation that this stock is starting to show strength, starting to move up. The upside momentum is starting to come back, right? And maybe all the way to 260. 260 was where we touched previously in February before the heavy sell down, right? So that could be the next upside targets, right? If we go above 245 first lah. All right, so I think you want to put this on your watch list. I think it's still okay, good that you bought it. I think there's some sign of strength, but we just need to get above that resistance first. But other than that, if we clear the obstacle, everything is all looking pretty good, right? Long-term trend up, short-term trend up. Maybe I can turn on the trailing support to see, are we above it? All right, let's take a look. Right, I would say that we are above it. I mean, it's been following it, follow. All right, then flat, right? So you might ask, hey, why is it flat? Because it never go up, so don't need to follow, right? It's just flat. And obviously, we have been above it. In fact, look at this, right? We neared it, we rebound. We neared it, we rebound, all right? So I don't know whether we neared it again and it rebound again, but so far, we're still above it. We're above the trailing support that give it the breathing space to breathe, right? So I would say all confirmations are all pointing at more bullishness. The only thing we need to get past is the 2.45 to maybe 250 resistance level. All right, so let me pass on the mic to Z to cover the final stock for today. Z, all yours.
All right, thanks, Joey. Okay, wait, I'm scrolling through the comments to take a look at what is the last stock to cover today, okay? Because I think we have quite a bit of interaction today. Then all is WWW, Okay, wait, give me some time. Okay, I think the last one that maybe we can cover today will be this stock called China Sunsin. Okay, let me just share my screen. All right, and by Alexander, right? Alexander, you are late, but don't worry, if you are still here, it's still fine. We are still going on, and if you can stay all the way to the end, and we will share our 2 bonus stock for today. All right, you haven't missed that yet. All right, so we have not shared China Sunsin, and it seems like you said today drop about 2.5 cents. Can share some insights. Okay, so let's take a look at this stock right over here right now. Okay, so for China Sunsin, longer term trend, shorter term trend, I think for this stock, I don't really have much issues with it because I can see all three are actually moving up. But like what Alexander has mentioned, right? Today, don't really know what actually happened yet. Haven't really read out if there's any news about this counter. Not too sure, right? But we can see is that the market is actually reacting to this counter, and we have a very, very long bearish candlestick that is happening, right? Probably market is absorbing some news from somewhere, right? That's why we are actually seeing this right now. But I think the key thing over here, right, is that apart from all the news, there's so many news out there and people absorb news at different timing, right? But what we want to take note of, right, especially so is where are the support level and the resistance level, right? That we can potentially see some buying coming back or some selling pressure returning, right? So for this counter right over here, right, right now I would say that okay, price is at about 0.775, right? 0.775. And I think one of the immediate resistance, right, would be around this 75 to about 76 cents right over here, right? Because this was where, somewhere in July, right? July all the way to August, this entire 1 month here, right? This was where prices was actually testing, right? And similarly, right over here as well, it was actually testing this 75 cents, unable to, it was testing until it eventually broke above it. We got a 1GT bullish signal coming out as well. And then prices went all the way up to about 84 cents. And this 84 cents, I would say, is one of the resistance level that you can actually take note of, set some price alert, right? If it reaches that 84 cents, nothing wrong to take profits. Again, like I said, nothing wrong to take profits. 1/3, half position is fine, right? And the balance, you can continue to ride the trend, especially so when we look at this longer term uptrend, still intact, right? And for this counter at this point in time, based on the bullish signal, what do we see? We see 1, 2, 3. The first one actually came out when? Let me see, on the 15th of April. So let's see, 15th of April, which is here, all the way to where we are at now, even though the candles actually came down, well, that's about 60%. 60% since April. Not too bad, right? I think not too bad. And plus now, we still do not have a 1GT bearish signal yet. So I think more importantly, like what I mentioned, right, maybe can set some price alert at this 75 cents right over here, right, to see whether the next couple of weeks, right, whether can price, if price come back down, selling pressure come back down, but can the buyers return to actually support the price back at 75 cents before even heading up even higher lah? Because if it does break, right, it goes like this and then it breaks below, I think the next level that potentially we are looking at, right, would be around this 68 cents right over here, right? Because like I've mentioned, this was the range that it was actually trading at for about 1 month or so, right? Every time it near this support, it goes up to 75 cents, come down again, and it was within this range for about 1 month, right? About 1 month. So first thing first, have to make sure whether it can actually hold and maintain above these 75 cents, all right? And 84 cents, like I mentioned, is one where you can potentially set some price alert to take some profits, right? To take some profits if prices were to rebound back up to the 84 cents level. Okay, so yeah, I hope that helps for Alexander. You're not too late. Like I mentioned, we still have not shared our bonus stock. And with that, I think this will be the last stock that I'll be covering, and I'll pass the time back to Joey to share his first bonus stock for today.
All right, thank you so much, Z. Right, sorry, just now I put off the comments accidentally. All right, okay, so let's see, right. So I think Z covered China Sunsin. All right, Alexander, I hope you have a better idea on that. Now let us move on to the bonus stocks right now. Right, bonus stocks right now. So thanks for staying all the way to the end, guys. We covered a total of like 16 stocks, and there's more than 50, 60 over stocks. So as I say, apologies if we cannot cover all of it. Hopefully you guys can join us in the next session as well. We try to cover most of it, right? And as I say, right, today, I mean, we just pretty much covered the Singapore stocks that you guys are asking about. If you want to even have a tool like what we're using, all right, in terms of the One Good Trend Pro indicator to guide you on entry and exit, well, attend a free webinar, right? The link is right in the chat already. All right, so check it out. That's where we look forward to share with you a bit more about the entire strategy and perhaps how you could also have this tool to guide you on entry and exit as well. All right, Ken. So let me go to share my screen and let's move on to the bonus stock for today. All right, and I know some of you have actually asked about this stock as well. SIA Engineering, all right? SIA Engineering. Let me just go to pull up some of the comments. I think some of you have asked about SIA Engineering. All right, let's see. Right. Okay, where is it? Okay, yeah, there's too many comments. Sorry, guys, I cannot find it. But I know some of you actually asked about SIA Engineering, all right, and I couldn't find it already. It's like probably hidden somewhere. But never mind. Let's go to cover this stock right here called SIA Engineering. Pretty much the first bonus stock from me that I'd like to share with you guys. And the reason why I like it, because over the past few days, well, I've got a note that was sent out to my VIP clients in Philip Securities as well. All right. And yeah, maybe just put the link one final time there as well. As I say, guys, if you want to get some of those ideas much faster than the time we take to do a live every Friday, whereby the price might have gone up a little bit and stuff, right? Check out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free. You get some of those ideas by WhatsApp daily, right? For free. Yes, for free at no additional cost, right? It's the same as whatever you pay when you're trading. All right. So I don't know where you're trading, but you probably need a trading account, right? So as I say, if you are trading and then you don't get any service from your own broker, you just log in on self, own self become one stock to buy, own self log into the platform, online, mobile app, whatever, right? And then nobody provide you any service, no idea, no video, no training, right? Click the link in the chat, find out how you can become a client of mine in Philip Securities for free to get some of those ideas. You do not pay anything more, just to be 100% clear. All right, Ken? And I think we do have a lot of clients over here as well. All right, so later there I'll acknowledge all of you one by one. All right, but let's take a look at this stock right here called SIA Engineering, right? Which I got a note sent out to my clients, right? Right over here, as we actually attempted to break this very key resistance level. I think somewhere over here, 335. Look at this, right? So 335 was a very key resistance that we have been trading below since June. For almost 3 months, we neared it, we came down, touched, came down. We just kept below the 335 line, right? And previously, right, you could see that in April, the short-term trend was down, right? Trump introduced tariffs and stuff, right? Short-term trend was down, the green line was down. End of April, early May, the green line started to turn up, all the way up. The green line then started to flatten. Now, as I say, we were kept below that 335 resistance level, right? So it was very boring. Like if you ask me in June and August, I'll say something for what, right? I mean, it's like not really moving. You want to go up, then come down, go up, come down. It's like, I don't know what it's doing now, right? So it's a bit sideways, right? But over the past 1 week, well, finally, I think it's rested enough, right? We have started to see some signs of strength with it breaking the 2-3 months resistance level, right? And right over here, you can see pump, right? We got pretty good bullish candles as well as we broke the resistance about 335 to maybe 340. We're obviously still above it. So that could be what we call a new kind of like a support level, all right, in terms of prices holding above the 335 to 340 level. All right, so that is from just doing a very quick manual analysis, right? We're consolidating, we broke a resistance, we're starting to push up. The short-term trend has started to turn up as well. The longer-term trend, look at the red and blue, obviously you can see it's up, right? But now, let's quickly turn on the bullish and bearish signals from the 1GT Pro indicator. Let's take a look, 1, 2, 3, pump. And let's see what it says, right? Did we get any bullish signal or maybe bearish signal coming out over the past few months? Well, I'll not go too far, but somewhere in March, we got a bearish signal, and then Trump tariffs and all that, it start coming down, down, and then we mentioned to be patient, right? Sometimes all this while, I think you guys have helped us to type patient, P for patient, W for wait, right? Wait for what? Wait for this wait for the bullish signal to come back in. Another bullish signal. The green line also started to turn back up, and there we go, all the way up, right? And of course, a bearish signal came out, it became boring, right? The green line started to go sideways, but looking at this, you can see that based on here to here, well, 51%. Right, 51% gain in 2 months, 2 months plus, right? Take some profit, get out, never mind, right? Wait for the time to get back in again. When is time? Well, now I would say that it started to wake up because after the bearish signal in July, it seems like but it's a fact, right? Over the past 1 week, in fact, in 19 September, last Friday, we got a bullish signal. On Wednesday, 2 days back, we got another bullish signal. And it started to push even higher already, all right? So it looks pretty bullish. I mean, I don't know whether you'll be like, based on this bullish signal, and then you're like, all the way out, you can take this, and then you can like paste over here or what, right? I don't know, right? But as of right now, all right, we got 2 bullish signals. The longer-term trend have turned up. I mean, the longer-term trend is already up. The short-term trend has turned from sideways to up over the past few days. Maybe a bit of resistance at 360, a bit of selling. I mean, market's a bit of profit taking, so maybe it's taking a bit of rest, a bit of selling there, 360. But I can tell you, if the 360 to give way, we go to 361, 362, 363. In fact, I can set some alerts right now, right? 362 pump, all right, 364, right, pump, 363 pump, all right. I would like to be alerted as well. I think that was where we would be attempting to find a new high. Targets could then be raised, maybe all the way to even 380 to $4, all right? And that is where we could ride in terms of the next phase of the upside after the 3 months of consolidation has ended, all right? It is another phase higher. Does it make sense about? All right, so that would be SIA Engineering. Well, one of the stocks that came to our watch list, we got a note out to our clients in Philip Securities. All right, it's gone up a little bit already, but there could still be more upside. I think if the 360 to give way, targets could be revised. All right, and that will be my bonus stock for today. All right, I hope you guys got some value out of that, right? Let me pass on the mic to Z to cover her bonus stock for today. Z, all yours.
All right, thank you, Joey. Okay, so my bonus stock for today is also engineering, but it's not SIA, it's ST Engineering, right? So ST Engineering, for those of you who have been joining us for, the past months or so, right, since we first started this Ask Me Any Stock Live in January, you guys would have known that for our Singapore session, ST Engineering is one of my very favorite stock, okay? And also it's definitely in our team watch list, and we've been watching this stock for very long, right? And I think a lot of you guys are also interested in this stock as well, right? Especially, since February and March, that's where we started to see more interest returning to this counter, and it went all the way up close to the $9 high, right? And I think during our sessions, a lot of times we're also covering this stock as our bonus stock. So today I also wanted to share with you guys again, perhaps to recap for some of you guys who are new, perhaps you might want to add into your watch list. And for those who are already into your watch, is already added in your watch list, then perhaps this could be an update for your ST Engineering stock, okay? Okay, so I think I saw in the comment also earlier on, right? I think Chu was actually asking, why ask, is it a good time to buy ST Engineering now, right? And also ask for one stock to invest now. I think for just now or past 2 hours, you have covered many stocks. So out of them, maybe perhaps a few of them could be in your watch list as well if you are interested in them and can add them in. All right. So for ST Engineering, you're asking whether is it a good time to actually buy now, right? So let's take a look at it, and perhaps I can also cover the other side, right? Whereby, for those of you who are already holding on to this stock, then perhaps what can you do, right? What can you do? Okay, so for ST Engineering, the longer term uptrend, I don't really have to talk about it, right? Because as you guys all can see, red and the blue line is actually still pointing up, right? Since the start of the year, it has been going up, and it is actually still pointing up for both the red and the blue line. But of course, this was where, a lot of people started to ask us, hey, ST Engineering, how is this still okay? Can I still hold, because this was where we started to see some selling pressure returning, right? For ST Engineering somewhere in August, and we also got two 1GT bearish signal coming out. So at this point in time, when you were to ask, right, hey, how is ST Engineering, can buy or not? We will usually tell you to be patient first, right? Because why? We got two bearish signal, and the 20 days moving average is still pointing down, right? It's still pointing down, right? So this is where, you know, it would be okay, right? For those of you guys who have already been holding on to this stock for quite some time, right over here, when we got a 1GT bearish signal coming out, right, it would be okay to actually take some profits, right? Because if you were to see, the first 1GT bullish signal actually came out somewhere in January, right? To, if let's say the second, if you maybe first 1GT bullish bearish signal come out, you don't want to take action, you want to do second one, right? Second one come out, then maybe you like, okay, I take some profits. Even that being said, it is about a 68%, right? 68% profits, not too bad, right? Not too bad, right? Continue to ride the uptrend until you get about 68% profits with a 1GT bearish signal coming out. I think it's still okay, right? It's still okay. There's nothing wrong to take some profits, or if you have already got out of your position somewhere here, it's fine, right? And then subsequently, what we are actually seeing is prices go all the way down to about 750. This is the support zone whereby buying pressure come back to support the prices, and this is where we started to see price rebound back up, right? And 20 days moving average, has it stopped pointing down? It has started to go sideways, and now, right now, it is actually above the red line, which is good, which is exactly what we want to see, right? But in terms, that is the trend part, right? That's the trend part, and we also get a new 1GT bullish signal coming out. But when we take a look at that, right, we also have to take a look at in the entire context, like where's the support, where's the resistance, right? So right now, I would say that over the past couple of days, prices is currently testing what we call a resistance at 850. So that's why you see my 850, this level right over here, right? It's still red color because I have not have a confirmation as to whether can price indeed hold above this 850 or not yet. I don't know, right? You were to ask me now, can you hold above 850? I'm not sure. But what I know is that it is indeed testing the 850, right? As you can see over here, it's just testing over the past couple of days, right? And right over here, I've also already set my alert, as you can see, right? Set my alert at about 855. Every time I go to 855, right, I will be alerted because I want to know whether it can this price for ST Engineering hold above 855 or not. Because if it does hold above 855, then 850 will become what we call a support level, right? A new higher support level, and the potential upside targets that we are looking at will be back towards the $9 already, because this was the high back in August, and this was where we started to see selling pressure return, right? And also we are seeing signs of recovery, right? Because the green is pointing up, the red and blue is still up, that one don't need to say. And we also got a 1GT bullish signal. And plus, if prices is actually able to find a new higher support, even better, right? Even better. So I think this ST Engineering, right, will definitely still remain on our watch list for now. And it is showing some signs of recovery whereby you can actually monitor, especially like what I mentioned about the 850 level, right? Make sure it can be able to hold and stay firmly above the 850 before thinking about taking any further action, especially for those of you who are thinking about purchasing, right? Thinking about entering into a position. This is where you can potentially set price alert for position yourself for a zone of entry, all right? And in terms of those of you who are already holding on to a position right now, like what I mentioned, right, 850 resistance level, and we always mention that when it is at the resistance level, there is nothing wrong to actually take profits, okay? There's nothing wrong to take profits, all right? But otherwise, the upside target, if can hold above 850, it will be, it will be right over here, right? This one, let me just copy and paste, right over here around this $9 level, okay? So I hope that helps give you some idea about ST Engineering, and in terms of, you know, where can you position yourself for entry, where can you set some price alert, all right? So because this stock definitely will still remain watching it very closely, okay? So with that, back over to you, Joey, for today's session.
All right, thank you so much, Z. All right, and there we have it, guys. All right, thank you so much for joining us. We have covered a total of 16 stocks that you guys asked, and 2 bonus stocks at the end that we like that you could put in your watch list, right? So the 2 bonus stocks, just to recap, I covered SIA Engineering right over here. All right, Z covered ST Engineering as well. All right, so I hope you have got some value in today, especially if you have covered your stock. Let me know, guys, how many of you got some value today. All right, just type a V for value, guys. Hi, ugly duckling, sorry. All right, we have pretty much reached the end of today's session. All right, type V for value, guys. If you got value today, let me know. All right, if you learned something a little bit on the strategy, a bit clearer on the stocks you were asking about, the levels, take profit, get out to buy, what levels, let me know, right? So that this encourage us to continue doing this, right? And that keeps us moving forward. Thank you very much as always. Thanks, Vincent, value, Tina, thank you so much for your kind words. Value as well, Dave, value, Chi Sing as well. Every single week you're here. Thank you so much. Faye, good value. Super V, thank you so much as well. ABC, Salong, value, Lihan. Or Lihan, I think I covered your stock, right? Okay, good. Styler as well, value. Okay, very good. So yes, that's it, guys. I think we've come to the end of today's Ask Me Any Stock session, all right, for the Singapore edition. Next Friday, we'll be back to the US market, So now if you're looking at US stocks, then do join us next Friday. But I just want to do a quick final sharing as well. I think some of you are actually asking a little bit on the strategy part, all right? So just want to go to share my screen right now for the very final time, such that if you want to find out a little bit more in terms of the entire One Good Trend strategy, right? Just click on the link in the chat. I think the link is probably hidden somewhere, right? All the way up. After all of you type VVVV, the link is somewhere at the top. So let's place the link in the chat one final time, all right? Attend a free webinar, all right? We have one webinar right over here. So click on the link, you'll come to this page right over here, how to 3x your portfolio in 2025 with the One Good Trend or the 1GT framework. What framework? The framework that we use to analyze all your stocks, right? And then the same indicator, right? Yeah. So that's the same framework, right? We can't like break it down even more for you, all right? And also how we use a simple tool to identify the top 1% of winning stocks in seconds, right? So when we talk about all the stocks just now, they might be in the top 1%. I don't know, right? Maybe not inside, maybe top 5%, maybe last 10%, all right? I don't know, right? But the key here is that we're going to focus on top stocks before knowing what to do with it, right? Before doing about whether to buy or sell them. Right? Before you give me the last 10% and you want to go and buy and sell, no point, right? We focus on the top stocks and we do what we need to do on the top stocks, all right? Whether to get in or to get out, right? And that's how we use the 1GT Pro indicator to be guided on entry and exit. And that's what we'll share, right, in the free webinar. So the next date will be, I think we haven't done it for more than 1-2 months already. So we don't do this every other month. It's not really my full-time job. I'm just doing this to just share and add value since this is what we are using anyway, all right? So this is kind of like the link right over here. All right, and 30 September 2025, next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 maybe plus, right? It's on Zoom. So click on the link, register for it. You'll come to this page, register, and I look forward to share with you guys more next Tuesday as well. So the link is right in the chat, right? The link is right in the chat. So thank you so much, right? Thank you so much. I think we've come to the end of today's session. Value as well, Mike. Thanks, Z. Thanks, Styler as well. All right, and Z, anything to add in case I missed anything?
No, I think I have nothing to add, and I really appreciate all of your time here with us every Friday, right? And we really hope to see more of you guys coming on board, sharing this video with other people if you have actually found value for it. All right? Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, right? Everyone have a good weekend. We'll see you next Friday live AMAS. Signing off. Bye. Bye.